When you're ready.
6:04. Talk 107.3 FM. Mornings with Brian Haldane off and running. Brian here with you. Bree Lynn back in the 180 Pros studio. We are on the road one more time, broadcasting live from L'Auberge Hotel and Casino in Lake Charles, Louisiana, as we're bringing you our coverage of Legisgator 2026, a Legisgator like no other thus far. This thing has really grown and exploded into what is amounting to an amazing policy conference along with networking event. And it culminates today with a big awards luncheon. And we're here for all of it. In fact, we're going to break down Legisgator from a number of different perspectives today. Adam Knapp from Leaders for a Better Louisiana. They had their day yesterday with breakout sessions and speeches, and well, not speeches, but like just deep dives into a few different topics. Adam's going to join us later this hour. Scott Walker from Southwest Louisiana Economic Development is going to join us in the 8 o'clock hour. He's kind of the brains behind the thing that put the whole thing together. So it was Scott, it was Adam, it was Will Green over at LABI. Will's going to join us on Monday, like he always does. But this thing has been rocking and rolling. Got to dive into a whole lot last night after the show. We'll break down as much as we can as to where we're headed as a state. And let's get after it. Top stories and trending.
Number 5.
Starting us off at number 5, we got to scroll back up. Well, it happens around this time every year. The Louisiana Highway Safety Commission is about to relaunch the Drive Sober or Get Pulled Over campaign. You know, it always comes around Labor Day, and you know there's always an increase in surveillance, patrolling, stops, checkpoints, and the like. We'll learn more about that, a lot more about that next week.
Number 4.
Louisiana students will spend more of their physical education class starting with the 2027-2028 school year. The Louisiana Bessie approved revised K-12 physical education standards during its meeting Wednesday. The revised standards start with things as simple as motor skills, moving all the way up to if you can dodge a wrench, you can dodge a ball.
Number 3.
Baton Rouge Magnet High has earned the number 1 ranking among high schools in the region, number 6 in the state, and number 209 nationally in the latest U.S. News and World Report rankings for 2026-2027. Baton Rouge High is one of only 9 public schools in Louisiana to rank among the top 1,000 schools nationwide. U.S. News, who, by the way, always has Louisiana last, no matter how they evaluate things. U.S. News evaluated nearly 18,000 schools in total.
Number 2.
In light of EBR School Superintendent Lamont Cole's indictment, the school board implemented a few safeguards last night. For example, for the next 10 months or perhaps longer, all contracts involving the EBR school system will carry Deputy Superintendent Adam Smith's signature in addition to that of Superintendent Lamont Cole. On top of that, contracts entered into since March of 2024 are now going to undergo an in-depth audit.
Number 1.
Dixon McMakin's going to be on with us at 6:35 this morning, and we're going to talk a little bit about Legisgator, but also, how about this story from the Advocate? A local coalition. Scroll down, Brian. A local coalition is welcoming new developments around the future management of City Brooks Park in the University Lakes. Representative Dixon McMakin has fully introduced his master plan, known as the McMakin Plan, that keeps the historic City Park golf course fully intact, according to the Friends of City Park. We've broken this down with Dixon before and what his plan looks like. It's basically just a merging of the other plans that were put together by Sasaki. But he's got backing for it. He's got a number of folks that are rallying in his corner. So the McMakin Plan, we'll talk about it a little bit at 6:35.
There's a look at today's top stories. Now let's find out what's trending.
What you got, Breland?
Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent, in an interview on Thursday, said that if President Trump decides to impose maximum economic pressure on Iran, military strikes would likely not restart.
Well, that's good. The problem with the maximum economic pressure thing, though, is that the whole rest of the world has to play along. We could drop as much, we can sanction somebody all day long, but if their markets are open to everybody else to get involved, then what good does that do? So we could, every once in a while we could use a friend. Let's see if we got some.
Right. The FBI arrested a woman Wednesday who they allege was plotting to attack the New York State Capitol building in Albany. What?
I don't know how to respond to this story without sounding unbelievably sexist. But have there been a lot of women bombers before? Like when you think of
No,
people that
it's
plant
typically
bombs,
men.
and I know it's kind of a man's thing, is to because if you Google women bombers, you're going to get a great selection of jackets. Like that's
Yeah, I
it.
can't.
When do women plant bombs to blow things up? That's not. I look, like I said, there's no way to say that without sounding sexist. But hear me out, because I'm not being sexist. It's just I'm just asking the question. That's not normally their go-to.
Right. And I'm not trying to sound sexist either, but are we worried about taking care of the house? And if we have kids, taking care
Wow,
of the kids?
you made it way more sexist than I did.
Right. We're not worried about going bombs.
I mean, wow. Because my follow was going to be normally women, if they want to terrorize, they do it from the inside.
Yeah. Okay.
Oh.
Yeah. We've got to follow up on the wine consumption story from yesterday and why
Oh.
wine is down. Okay. A Gallup survey of 1,200 adults living in all 50 states has found that 54% of them do consume alcohol. The lowest reading since the polling organization started tracking Americans' drinking habits back in 1939.
So that's 46% of people don't consume alcohol.
Wow.
That's crazy. I can't imagine that.
Nearly half don't consume. That's just, is that accurate? Is
I've
that right?
no idea. I mean, I'm not in that number. I'm over on the 54 side for sure.
I had 2 glasses last night.
That's crazy. 46%. But the Gallup well, we don't know if Gallup followed up with another question of like, then how do you deal?
Right. That's what I want to know.
How do you block out the noise? Like, how do you? Sorry, that was a random Coach Joe impression. How do you wind down at the end of the day? Have you moved over to THC products? Have you moved over to Are you smashing that vape at night?
Yeah, maybe meditation.
Well, yeah, maybe something a little healthier like meditation. Yeah, I mean,
yeah, how do you dial down after a long week at work or a long day at work?
Right.
Where, you watch TV shows like Mad Men way back in the day.
It was always a drink. Give me a martini. Yes. Love a good vodka martini.
Oh, yes. Dirty martini.
I'm a catch out for that because vodka is supposed to be gin. But anyway, it doesn't matter. Yeah, where did they go to? If they left alcohol, where did they go to? That's the follow-up question. Gallup, get after it. 611 at Talk 107.3 FM, WBRP. We're going to take a quick break. Before we take that break, I want to remind you that next Thursday, this coming Thursday, I should say, because Thursday's already yesterday. This coming Thursday, August 27th, to be sure, the Ascension Chamber Business Expo is on the way. Coming your way from Lamar Dixon Rev Center. Going to have over 100 exhibitors out there. There's going to be some great talks, some great panels, a keynote breakfast, a breakfast buffet as well. Whole lot of networking. Y'all know how much is going on in Ascension Parish right now. We talked about a lot of it with Tim Johnson yesterday afternoon. By the way, if you weren't here, we did a show 4 to 6 yesterday afternoon. We talked about it with Tim Johnson yesterday afternoon. Hyundai, Steel, CF Industries, and more than just the River Park Megaplex. There's so much more going on in Ascension Parish, and you can learn about all of it by visiting the Ascension Chamber's website to learn more about the Ascension Chamber Business Expo next Thursday.
And we're out.
Okay, cool.
Oh. So we have Dixon.
Yeah.
To be on the safe side. Oh, do we need cuts for sports?
Oh, yeah, let's do that because I don't know if what I have is going to last the whole time. 16, 17, and 18, please.
Oh, I need to go tag your people. Hang on.
Yeah, because I can't do that in StreamYard.
No, you can't, and that drives me
And
insane.
no,
Kate was asking that, but you can't.
no, I know, and it's he always asks that because Sales always asks that, but Sales like we're on Facebook, so I'm gonna talk about it, but it's like nobody cares. We have over a minute.
Yeah.
Okay.
we have a
I
little
see
bit.
water fountains. I want to refill my water bottle.
So I saw Kay didn't tag Continuum yesterday. Do they
Continuum.
not have a page? Continuum? Do they not have a page?
No, she's just getting started. She hadn't started all that
Okay.
yet. I need to
Cool.
get on her to get that though. That's Lana's outfit.
Oh, okay, cool deal.
Yeah. .616 Talk 173 FM WBRP. Mornings with Brian Haldane, rolling right along. Going to be a big day tomorrow for the Seattle Mariners. Well, maybe not so much for the Seattle Mariners, but it's going to be a big day tomorrow for LSU Tiger fans via the Seattle Mariners. Bigger day tomorrow for those of the Brotherhood. That would be the St. Paul's alumni. As Kate Anderson's getting the call, baby. Former LSU Tiger pitcher is going to be pitching tomorrow. Nope, got to scroll back down to the story again. My apologies. I could have done this a little bit better to set it up. But the Mariners prospect, who is, by the way, the top pitching prospect in all of Major League Baseball right now, or in all of baseball right now, found out yesterday he's getting the call. He will throw tomorrow. I'll get you some more details on that in just a minute, but we also need to pay a little bit of attention to LSU football as we're just 2 weeks away from the season opener versus Clemson. A lot to look at here. Hearing from Lane Kiffin, and shout out to Louisiana Radio Network for the distribution of the audio on this. But let's talk about quarterback Sam Levitt. Quarterback Sam Levitt in the spring versus quarterback Sam Levitt in the fall. Mountains of difference. Cut 16, if you would, please.
Sam has been awesome. Really has been. I don't say that very often, but he made 2 throws back to back today that I call them adult throws that not many people in the country can make. So really pleased with him, and now we got to make more plays around him.
Over on the defensive side of the football, we have seen the defensive tackle Dominic McKinley coming in, go up and down the depth chart a little bit. Fortunately, as we're reaching the season, he's moving in the right direction. Cut 17.
Dom's had a really good camp, really challenged him at spring. I told him he didn't really have a good spring, in my opinion, of what he should for his size and his ability, and really has stepped up, especially in the last probably week and a half. And it's been great to see. He's run with our ones.
Keeping it on the defensive side of the football, Kiffin brought with him, well, didn't bring with him, but chose to come along with Kiffin, was Princewell Uman-Mielen. There's a name that Chris Blair is going to have to rehearse a few times. Princewell Uman-Mielen doing great out to the edge rusher spot. Cut 18.
The defense is still performing really well, especially the ones. Princewell has really been a dominant force, especially in the ability to catch the quarterback, which I think is very important nowadays, not just being good rushers, but these quarterbacks, I feel like more people have turned to athletic quarterbacks in college football. That big part of third downs is when you get there, can you get them down?
That is a big part of it. And we'll find out a heck of a lot more on September 5th when LSU takes on Clemson in Tiger Stadium, which, by the way, it's time to start getting ready for our game day coverage because Eagle 98.1, our sister station, Eagle 98.1, is all over it, top to bottom, start to finish. I believe we start 5 hours before kickoff is when Eagle 98.1 game day starts. And then, well, runs all the way through the network pregame, the game, the network postgame, and then Eagle will take it back over again to take your calls throughout the night as we get our first look at our LSU football Tigers coming up on September 5th. Wanted to get back to Kate Anderson. We'll do that right after we check the Fox Business Report on Talk 107.3. The static's killing me. Here's ooh. Boo doo 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 doo.
May I say I love Paul Sawyer? He shared his little reel about the drones.
Yeah.
He's just so genuine. He's so cool.
Saw him last night.
Aw.
Yeah, he was over next door at Golden Nugget. Yeah, he's one of the best around.
Just good people.
Yeah.
All right, traffic. When you're ready.
Starting off on I-12 westbound, coming in to Baton Rouge from Livingston Parish. Might have a few neighbors up on the road with you. Might have to see tap some brakes a little bit as you approach Airline Highway. When you back things up to Range Avenue, where it's normally stacked up at this time of morning, we're actually still good to go at this time. Bringing it around to I-10 westbound, that's always good unless there's a major accident. And this morning there is not a major accident. As you make your way through town, it looks like 110 southbound. This is showing up on one map, but not the other. There might be some. Nope, it's gone. Never mind. Forget I even said anything because as soon as I went to click on it, the alert went away. There was some overnight road work going on, or some early morning road work going on that has since been cleared. Good thing too, because we're kicking off the morning drive. Coming back in from Port Allen, coming back in from Points West on I-10 eastbound, we're looking good there as well. There are no surface street accidents to report. That's your look at traffic from the Talk 107.3 Traffic Center. 624 Talk 107.3 FM, WBRP. Mornings with Brian Haldane, rolling right along, broadcasting live from Legisgator 2026. Our coverage of Legisgator is brought to you by the Louisiana Chemistry Association. We're going to talk with David Cresson in our 8 o'clock hour. Brought to you by the TJC Group. We got a few of their team members coming on the 7 o'clock hour. Continuing Strategies, Lana Venable. She actually joined us a good bit yesterday. Fantastic segment with Lana about where her mission is going, where the Continuum Strategies, where their role is right now and will be in the future when it comes to, not just business and industry in the state, but crafting policy on the back end of that. Fantastic stuff from Lana yesterday. And of course, the good folks at Cataris, that would be Commonwealth LNG, is that's their big project right now. If you're watching us on Facebook Live, you can see the big Cataris drop behind me. But shout out to those four, to be certain, for helping bring you our Legisgator coverage for 2026. So our news partners at WBRZ, that's just the place where I'm reading, and everybody's got the story. I want to go back to Cade Anderson. The Seattle Mariners plan to call up former LSU pitcher Cade Anderson for their game Saturday against the Chicago Cubs. Their BRZ got it from ESPN's Jeff Passan. After being selected by Seattle with the third pick in the MLB draft in 2025, Anderson has dominated the minor leagues. Now get a load of this. This year, Anderson's record, 10-1 and 18 starts with 135 strikeouts. According to Fangraphs, he ranks 5th in all of minor league baseball in strikeouts. All the players above them, however, have thrown for more innings. So strikeouts per inning, he's absolutely crushing it. And is projected to pitch tomorrow versus the Cubs. So big ups to Cade Anderson for turning it around very, very quickly, from getting from college through the minors up to the majors. It's just an awesome time. And on the personal level, he went to my high school. We don't get too many of those. It's always cool because you don't get too many. It doesn't happen very, very often. So good on Cade. We'll be pulling for him tomorrow for sure. Any reason to root against the Cubs from my end. Shout out Chandler. All right, 626 at Talk 107.3 FM, WBRP. Before we dive into our next story, I do want to remind you about 180 Pros. 180pros.com is the website, 180pros.com, or 330-2200. They are local, 225-330-2200. Not your IT provider, your IT partner. Talk about that all the time, but to go a little bit deeper into the meaning of what that is. Like, why? What makes them a partner? I just need an IT company. Well, you need an IT company when your network goes down. You need an IT company when you have a cybersecurity problem. When you have an IT partner, what you have is someone on the front end before something goes down. Someone who works with you to make sure you are maintained and you've got the network you need, not just the network you have. Cybersecurity-wise, they like to stay out in front. And they are always on the front end when it comes to the latest of, look, cybersecurity, by and large, is a reactive business, right? Because the hackers are always going to try and be one step ahead. So you have to have your head in a swivel, read and react like a linebacker. That's what 180 Pros does. Also, same-day response time. If you have a problem, you call them within business hours. They will get out to you that same day. And on top of that, the collaboration is everything. Learn more at 180pros.com. We've got Dixon McMakin coming on to talk about his, we're going to talk a lot about the City Park plan. I did want to take one quick second, though, to touch on the tropics look like they might be moving back up again, just a little bit. It's been an unbelievably slow season. Hopefully it will remain so. And it was projected to be, right? I don't know if anybody projected to be this slow, but it has been thus far, and will hopefully stay that way. But there is one little blob in the middle of the Atlantic right now, has a 20% chance of forming into a name storm over the next 7 days. Likely not going to be anything, but we want to point it out simply because it's out there. It's just, if there's something for us to look at, we will look at it. Not raising alarm, not setting off any alarm bells. I'm not saying the storm's going to come to us. In fact, even if it were to become a name storm, it likely would be up the Atlantic, like way up the Atlantic, like New York style of the Atlantic. So we'll have one eye on it, but probably not going to be anything as has the hurricane season been thus far. Man, I got to tell you, Legisgator so far this year, and I'm really, really looking forward to our conversation at 6:50 with Adam Knapp, has been a different beast, y'all, as we're broadcasting from here. Workforce has been a big topic, and workforce participation rate within that, which is an amazing thing. when you look at unemployment numbers, when you hear unemployment numbers, I don't know why the news fixates on unemployment numbers so much. Probably because it's the amount of money going back out again when people, seek to get paid while they're not working, which, we pick up the tab as Americans. Okay, that's fine. But it's workforce participation rate that really should be the focus more often than not, because that's the overall volume of people. The number of people who are potentially in the workforce but are actively not. Louisiana is making strides on that front. In fact, more than any other state in the nation right now, Louisiana is making strides on that front in order to get more people back in the game. And the only way you do that is by having quality jobs, not just jobs, quality jobs. You can have a job, slinging French fries, and there's nothing wrong with that. You're going to earn a paycheck. That's great. But when you have a job that's paying you $75,000, $80,000, $90,000 a year, that's a whole different ballgame. Think about it. If you worked, let's say you worked in a plant up and down the river somewhere, okay, and you got laid off about a decade ago, or maybe 5 years ago, but you had a whole plan, in place. You had investments you could lean on, you got retirement accounts you could tap into. Did you well, you probably have to pay some penalty to get into those, but what's your motivator to get back into the workforce? Nothing wrong with slinging fries, but is that going to get you off the couch? Probably not. Where we're headed, it will. Here's news. All right, Facebook Live. I've got to keep taking off the headset because my head is sweating. I don't think they have the air on down this hallway, so I'm going to be a little bit detached. No, there's nobody out here yet, so there's no reason to have the air on except get ahead of the ball game. But
so let's sweat Brian out.
No, and this has been constant. Just walking around New Orleans, you can't step outside without, straight condensation, and then sweat on top of it. So
right.
It's flop sweat in New Orleans. There's all kinds of humidity coming off the lake. So, it's sweating to the talk radio this morning. Was wondering if you were listening. All right. The McMakin plan. All right, yeah, I'm gonna get up and walk around. I'm sitting here. I'm feeling my forehead already. Morning. Good morning, Christy, if she's in. I don't even know. Let me open the stream on the phone.
Warm weather.
Okay. Alan says, "Did you see Vader? I sent you on X, Brian. If I'm tagged in too many things, eventually it gets boring. So. .36 Top 103 FM, WBRP. Mornings with Brian Haldane, rolling right along. Broadcasting live from Legisgator 2026. State Representative Dixon McMakin is en route right now. He is within L'Auberge and making his way over here, literally as we speak. So he'll be walking up any moment now. Before we dive back in, I do want to give a quick shout out to our sponsors of our Legisgator coverage. That would be the Louisiana Chemistry Association, the TJC Group, Continuum Strategies, and Caterus Commonwealth LNG. He is in with us now. Dixon, how are you, man?
Hey, good morning. Mornings without Brian Haldane, live from Lake Charles, Louisiana.
We are with Brian Haldane this morning.
My bad.
No, you're all good.
See you, bud.
Yeah, good to see you as well. I appreciate you hopping on this morning. Yeah. It's because this is a new beast. This is a different Legisgator than it's been in the past. Give me what you've taken in so far.
Yeah, look, Legisgator, normally on a normal Legisgator, for those that don't know, main day was today. We come in for a lunch. We have a great Southwest Chamber lunch. We hear a lot of speakers and see some people. Now expanding that out to a few days, having some policy summits and things like that. I think it's been fantastic, actually. For those that don't know, in the legislature, right, we're in the legislature late spring, early summer, and they think, that's when we're doing our work. I mean, that's when they see it.
Right.
But we've already begun the work for next year. The budget is already being talked about, where money is moving, bill ideas are already happening, doing some research. And so this really expands that opportunity for us to talk to leaders from around the state or really around the country. They brought some in, and I think it's been fantastic. And I give kudos to Will Green and Adam Knapp, I think, that, kind of leading this charge to do it like this. I think the expansion has been great.
Yeah, Adam's coming up in our next segment, actually, so looking forward to that conversation. And yeah, it's all the time we hear, legislature is a part-time job. It's a part-time job, but it's not, though. I was talking to one. She'll remain nameless, but I was talking to a legislator last night who's just exhausted because y'all been working hard already, like the last 3-4 days, just pounding out policy.
Yeah, no excuse for me, right? I live near the Capitol. I think I'm the second closest to the Capitol. Absolutely love it. Absolutely love serving the people of Baton Rouge and District 68. You claim it's a part-time job, but yeah, you are committed to it all the time. But really anything in life. If you want to be good at it, you got to be committed.
Sure.
You know, Brian, in the morning, you got to wake up and you got to decide either you're the chicken or the pig, right? You're the chicken that lays the egg for the egg sandwich.
Okay.
Or you're the pig that gives his life for that ham sandwich, right? And so to be good about this, you got to be the pig. You got to be committed. And I think so far the people of Baton Rouge and District 68 have seen my commitment to them and serving them.
Trying to figure out how that was a compliment somewhere in there.
Yeah, no, absolutely. You're committed. You're committed, Brian. You know,
But I'm also a chicken and a pig.
yeah.
That's somewhere within there. We got Dixon McMakin on with us. I want to pivot away from Legisgator if we could for just a quick second. So, because WBRZ ran a story yesterday, apparently your City Brooks Park plan is gaining some popularity.
Yeah, I think it's been popular from the beginning. We Sasaki out there put out 2 plans that kind of I saw that, and I think residents of District 68 that live around the park also saw those 2 plans as completed as whole would be a failure, and so put forth the McMakin plan we called, which was a compromise. Sasaki came back and did another plan. Still doesn't quite satisfy, I think, the residents of District 68 who surround this community park.
Mm-hmm.
And so a group of them has come back and said, hey, we really committed to the McMakin plan. We'll see what will happen. The Breck Commission still has to vote at some point on something. What that vote will be, we're not sure yet. But feeling confident in the conversations I've had with them that they're committed to let's start on the west side. Let's start with Brooks Park. Let's start with a track, a true public track for the people of Baton Rouge to go out there, get the pool back up and running and get it in good shape. And then let's stay on the west side, knock improvements, Adventure Hill improvements, before we even consider coming on the east side of Dalrymple and to do anything to the golf course or the surrounding area.
Where are you at? And we talked about plans for the park, but not management of the park and the lakes and whatnot. Where are you at on the whole conservancy issue?
Yeah, conservancy as of now is a no for me. LSU, of course, owns the entirety of University Lake, the largest part of this. Interesting fact, Brian, I didn't know this till doing the research on this. Walpole Park, right? We have Walpole Park that's over
on the other side of the bed,
by Stanford. That's actually LSU's property that Breck leases from LSU.
Really?
How about that? A little interesting tidbit there. So talking to people at LSU of, as Breck is kind of, maybe outkicking their coverage here, extending their skis a little bit too much. What should LSU's focus be with that park? Maybe make it part of our rec center. Maybe make it something for the students as well right there. Maybe get involved directly with Mr. Walpole, right, whose naming rights are on that park, who has the condos across the street. So that'll be interesting as well to see as those conversations continue. But it'll be in the commission's court. Of course, we rewrote a law 3 years ago for the new Breck Commission.
Mm-hmm.
The intent of that law at that time was you heard from people from around the parish, well, we want to break away. We're not feeling like we have our voices heard. Well, you know what we did? We put all the mayors on the commission.
Right.
You can't tell me your voice isn't heard if I put you on the commission. Now, did I envision or have anyone envision that Breck would go out and try to do a new master plan that's right now $125 million when the new superintendent was on your show and said, hey, we got a $2 billion backlog.
He did say that.
$115 million year budget, a $2 billion year backlog. Look, folks, those numbers don't add up. So how about you get your house in order before you go out there and make these pie-in-the-sky plans that we've seen before that just never get done? I think the people of Baton Rouge, the taxpayers, are tired of that happening. Go get it done. Get maintenance done. Go sell more parks. They're starting to do that as well. Reduce your portfolio. Then maybe we can have a conversation about a $125 million plus master plan.
So wait, in full credit to Brooks Williams, I recognize the fact that he rolled in and he recognized the problem right away. I think because we've had those in the past who have just glossed over it, tried to make it pretty with a quick paint job, and pretended like there wasn't a problem. The fact that on day one, that's his first time on the show, he said that. So to me, that's a positive.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think, look, I'll give credit to the commission. And obviously, interim superintendent Janet Simmons, I think she did a phenomenal job. Tough spot that she was in. She was fantastic. I've gotten to talk to her a few times. Absolutely great. Mr. Maurice, that's on your show as well, the CFO, I think does a tremendous job as well. So moving, as Moon Griffon would say, moving in the right direction, a step in the right direction. But, of course, for Breck, any step in a positive direction was good.
Absolutely. Back to Legisgator for a couple. We got 3 minutes left before we got to bail. But back to Legisgator real quick. You had Wednesday. Have you been here the whole time?
Yeah.
Okay. You had Wednesday. You had Thursday. What are you looking forward to today, just to kind of give the audience an inside look at what actually goes on?
Yeah, today. So, of course, I'm here on your show. I'm actually going to go across the street to the Golden Nugget. Congressman Higgins
Love the Golden Nugget, by the way.
We'll be over there.
Yeah.
So we'll go see him over there. We'll have a bunch of leaders here as well. Just the interaction of the people and finding out from them, like, where are you? You know, last night I had a conversation with Commissioner Balra about some things we're working on.
Nice.
You know, they're already working on. People don't realize they're already working on the budget for next year.
It's crazy. Which they should be. It doesn't just come together out of nowhere.
Yeah, it's always evolving, and then getting those ideas of what you can do. Had a great conversation, of course, with Secretary Susan Bourgeois and all the great we're doing. Any number you say with her of how many billion have come into the state, it's almost like the national debt. It always is going up,
right?
Because she is always bringing in more money. So talking to her about some projects around, of course, as chair of the Capital Region, a lot of stuff happening in the Capital Region. And so really just talking to those people and then hearing some great guest speakers this morning at the luncheon.
And then we're going to have our full I believe our full delegation from D.C. up on stage for the luncheon as well. Normally it's 2/3 of them or such. So we'll hopefully get as many as we can.
And usually it's a little bit of a roast. So we'll see if they're bringing some jabs today or not. We'll see what happens.
2 years ago was great. Last year was lame. That's to be fair.
Concur in your assessment.
There you go. You've next week, before we get you out of here, next week's going to be big with announcements on Tuesday and I believe Thursday as well. None of these in your district, but definitely for the state. You mentioned Susan Bourgeois on economic development. I think it's all eyes on Tuesday right now.
Yeah, absolutely. We'll be down in Avoyelles Parish down there to do that. And, of course, on Tuesday, as you know, and hopefully people will come out to the PMAC Tuesday afternoon for Coach Bertman's.
Oh, my goodness gracious. Well, thank you for reminding me about that. I haven't even mentioned that this morning.
Oh, good. Yeah. So let people know. Obviously, come to the PMAC, come talk and hear some great stories about Coach Bertman. I was honored that he was my faux grandpa, considered him my grandpa my whole life.
Nice.
I was his last student worker at LSU Athletics, which was always fun. I was reading an article just today of July 1st, 2008. We moved him into the PMAC in his emeritus role. So great guy. Come out there. It should be packed. Doug Thompson is doing a lot of work right now on that as well. And so let's honor the big guy, number 15. It'll be great.
Yeah, thank you for that reminder. That's awesome stuff. He's Dixon McMakin. Thank you so much for stopping by.
Have a great morning.
You
Go
too.
Tigers.
All right, we'll take a quick break. We got Adam Knapp next. I completely forgot to ask.
I did it for you, man.
I agree with you. I mean, I can't get out of my head what Procter had told our competitor, which is we have a big tool. We have competitors. We have the best. We have competitors. Sometimes maybe because they're the best. The treasury department is prepared to go beyond their plan. I mean, it's really interesting to see this even happening. Yeah. Now, D.E. Shaw owns a stake exceeding $1 billion in Cisco. The hours after the Wall Street distributor said it will refresh its board. That D.E. Shaw, one of the world's biggest hedge funds, has been invested in Cisco for decades. Microsoft CEO Sanjay Mehrotra said on CNBC that artificial intelligence has fundamentally changed the memory business. The industry firm including His comment comes after the application site is under construction near Microsoft headquarters in Boise, Idaho, which is part of the company's $250 billion investment in U.S. manufacturing and research. Oil prices have dropped this morning as the U.S. vows to up economic pressure on Iran. West Texas Intermediate up to $86 a barrel, Brent at 93. Futures have risen this morning. Dow and Nasdaq futures both up by more than 200 points. Yesterday, the Dow lost 703. That's 200 now. You need someone.
Yeah.
So now you can eat them fast.
All right. And the just so you know, the audience cannot hear any of the static. I don't know if you're hearing static.
I can't. So we're good.
No, I was talking to Adam.
Yeah, I hear a little bit of.
The audience can't hear that.
Okay.
So
Also hearing an echo.
that is on Breland's end.
Okay.
It'll go away with it. 6:52, Coca-Cola 73 FM, WZRP, morning with Brian Haldane, rolling right along. Broadcasting live from Legisgator 2026. Our coverage brought to you by Caterus, Commonwealth LNG. Brought to you by Continuum Strategies, the TJC Group, and the Louisiana Chemistry Association. A big part of this year's expansion of Legisgator comes from Leaders for a Better Louisiana. That would be one Mr. Adam Knapp, who's sitting to my left right now. How are you, sir?
I'm doing great, man. I'm cloud nine.
So walk me through a little bit about how this evolved into what it is.
So we were here at Legisgator 2 or 3 years ago and just saw that. I used to run the Baton Rouge area chamber, and for a guy who knows Chamber of Commerce events and economic development events, people were showing up in Lake Charles already 2 years ago on a Wednesday for a basically Chamber of Commerce luncheon on Friday.
Right.
Like, what the hell is going on here? This is kind of amazing. But we thought, what if we had an event to put some content into the days leading up to Legisgator? The legislature is coming, the congressional delegation is coming, a lot of state officials are coming, and so the idea was hatched. What if we could do more in the space of these 2 days to take advantage of folks that are here? But what we really want to do is hear ideas from other states about what can move Louisiana forward to improve things on a wide variety of fronts, and so that's what we've been able to build. And that was where it was hatched, though. It was just some hallway conversations with the Lake Charles team and with Lobby and others just about what if.
So I've heard a lot of comparisons to Washington Mardi Gras already.
Yeah.
But I would respond with it's a lot more policy directed. Washington Mardi Gras is all over the place.
Yeah, that's right.
So and it's a lot. Washington Mardi Gras has all the networking under the sun.
There's also no king. There's no king and queen here.
Yet.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, there's gonna be a Gator King one day. That's
a good idea. You just coined it. I love it.
kind of like Tiger King, but we'll go with Gator King. So Washington Mardi Gras is all over the place networking. This feels a lot more dialed in for the policy and on the daytime. Nighttime we'll get back to like the hospitality suites and the networking there and whatnot and fellowshipping as well. But the policy into this I feel like has given it its own personality in year one of the new Gator.
Yeah, actually one of the other big people don't care about this, but in the state of Michigan, where they don't have a Washington Mardi Gras, the whole state gathers. The governor, the political leadership, a lot of the business organizations, they all go for basically like this extended state retreat to Mackinac Island in northern Michigan. And it's this idea. It's multiple speakers, multiple tracks, multiple days. But it's a place to gather, connect, but also kind of think about big ideas. So that's where I think you're seeing this starting to happen this year is in the hallways, the conversations that happen in the sessions spill out into the hallways and people start to talk about, things that they're thinking about that could move Louisiana forward.
Right.
That's what was the inspiration for what happened yesterday.
Well, one of the beautiful things, and I'm waiting for Washington Mardi Gras now to see how it plays after this. One of the things about Washington Mardi Gras is that's the first chance that everybody gets together after the session to talk about what didn't get done and what can be tweaked, adjusted, and whatnot. And you start to see policy just organically stem from that.
That's right.
And then, you move forward from there. Having Legisgator to be that redirection right now, how is that going to change the trajectory of the focus of ideas, the consensus behind ideas? Like we're on an on-ramp right now.
Yeah.
And it puts us on the on-ramp sooner.
Let me give you an example of this. So in sessions yesterday, we had a track about community development. 3 different speakers from other states that are working on things for rural communities, for how state spending is driven by planning, community planning to try to improve neighborhoods and communities across states. We expect a lot of the ideas like that can turn into legislation, but now you have a full, 8 months before session to start working on what that would look like, rather than like you were saying, where session is right around the corner if you're in DC and all starting to get together there. So our hope is we can surface interesting ideas where you have a lot of time to then try to put those ideas into potential ideas for session.
What else was a topic of yesterday?
So we had a community development track. We had some folks from Indiana come in and talk about how they do workforce system design differently.
Heard a lot about them yesterday. I heard we did a show 4 to 6 yesterday. I heard a lot about them within that show. Rave reviews.
Yeah. So some of the amazing things that you see there was the challenge of a state that's having some great economic development success right now is how do you make sure that companies that are already in your state, small businesses that have workforce challenges, know that the system can actually solve for immediate workforce challenges of those small businesses. In Indiana, they actually have this very robust system from high schools to community colleges and into the workforce that are helping pull people into opportunities and very specific tailored training programs around each of their industry needs. And that is one of the things we really
is there a lot that can copy and paste? Because it's not going to be the same industries. We're not,
No.
We have differences from Indiana, but are we able to extrapolate what we can utilize here without?
So. Yeah. The big thing to us is the design is something that's really important about how to get that right. You're absolutely right. We don't have the same economy that they have. We don't have the same types of cities that they have, but what we think is the process of what they did to set that up is absolutely what we see happening to replicate that and change it and make it fit for Louisiana. But that's the kind of stuff that happened. We also had a track yesterday on how philanthropy across the state can make a bigger impact with how they choose to invest their capital. So it was a whole track that was organized by LWCC, Louisiana Workers' Comp Corporation, and folks from Louisiana Blue. Did a great job kind of pulling in philanthropy from around the state to have that big conversation. And then we had this whole conversation around the future of energy, which was very exciting to see from Baton Rouge to New Orleans to the whole grant that LSU has gotten to drive this massive amount of test bed research and innovation around the future of energy. So there were some things that we thought were going to be really important for legislators to know more about that's happening already.
Oh, the team over at Fuel at LSU
That's
is
one.
ridiculous.
They are doing some really
I-
amazing stuff.
But blown away every time I hear them.
But amazing to, I mean, probably your listeners know this. There's just not a whole lot of knowledge and awareness yet of what's actually being done and how it's actually happening.
No, and how helpful it is.
It's amazing, and the fact that the federal government gave this massive grant to LSU to coordinate this across the state, it's a huge shot in the arm for the state to move forward in the energy sector.
Previous legislators, when the full luncheon gets rolling there, previous legislators have been a decent roast up on stage. Last year lacked. You think we're getting back to the roasting again this year?
So the governor gave a great speech about it's kind of like a Boudreaux and Thibodeau joke that last year. I think we're going to get more to the comedy side again. Maybe not this year because it's an election year, for
leading
a lot of
into
them. But I think next year is going to be popping when that happens. We'll see.
All right,
we'll judge it later today.
He's Adam Knapp. Appreciate it, brother.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, we hit. That's the only 59-50. Back to the studio, it took us over right there. So, good. Appreciate you coming in. And yeah, I'll hit you up by lunchtime. If I haven't found others, because
to come back and do some more airtime.
no, I'm done at 9.
Oh, for a seat.
So,
Yeah.
a seat. Yeah.
Awesome. Yeah, happy to. So you need 2. I'll take 15.
Yeah. Thank you.
Ooh. We didn't even talk about the sweets.
Sweets were awesome.
Let
me hang on. Where we at?
We are in the open, but we still have like 10 seconds.
Well, come to me.
Well, he's still talking. Okay, hang on. Go ahead.
705 Talk 107.3 FM WBRP mornings with Brian Haldane rolling right along. Hour 2 coming your way right now. Brian here with you at Low Bearish Casino in Lake Charles. Bree Lynn back in the 180 Pro studio. This is our coverage of Legisgator 2026. Very much looking forward to this hour. We've got Desiree Lemoyne from Industry Makes coming up in our next segment, which, by the way, full credit here. Desiree was the first one that said, bring the show to Legisgator. So full credit. We got Desiree coming up next, and then some team members from the TJC group after that. So it's going to be a rip-roaring industry-based hour. Right now, though, we start you off with top stories and trending.
Number 5.
Number 5 starts us off over with our news partners over at WBRZ. The suspect in the Mall of Louisiana mass shooting has pled not guilty. 1 day after being indicted on charges connected to the April shooting at the Mall of Louisiana that killed a 17-year-old, Markel Lee pleaded not guilty to murder and attempted murder charges. Lee is now 18, was indicted Wednesday on 1 count of second-degree murder, 6 counts of attempted second-degree murder, and 1 count of illegal use of weapons.
Number 4.
Whoop. Scroll back up. It happens around this time every year. The Louisiana Highway Safety Commission is about to relaunch their Drive Sober or Get Pulled Over campaign. It happens around Labor Day every year as we dive into that, which is just a couple of weeks away. So be ready for it. Increased patrols, increased checkpoints, and the like. Louisiana Highway Safety Commission and Drive Sober or Get Pulled Over is on its way back.
Number 3.
Louisiana students will spend more of their physical education class moving around starting with the 2027 to 2028 school year. Bessie has approved revised K-12 physical education standards during its meeting on Wednesday. Those revised standards start with basic motor skills. They grow into lifelong fitness lessons and culminate with, if you can dodge a wrench, you can dodge a ball.
Number 2.
Not really on the dodgeball thing. I threw that in. Baton Rouge Magnet High School has earned the number 1 ranking among high schools in the region, number 6 in the state, number 209 nationally in the latest U.S. News and World Report rankings for 2026 to 2027. Baton Rouge High is one of only 9 public schools in the state to rank among the top 1,000 schools nationwide. U.S. News and World Report, who repeatedly hates on Louisiana, no matter how they go about things or no matter what they're trying to go about, they always find a way to have us at the bottom of their metrics. They evaluated nearly 18,000 schools in total.
Number 1.
In light of EBR School Superintendent Lamont Cole's indictment, the school board implemented a few safeguards last night. Among those would be, for the next 10 months, perhaps longer, all contracts involving the East Baton Rouge Parish School System will carry Deputy Superintendent Adam Smith's signature in addition to that of Superintendent Lamont Cole. Also, contracts entered into since March of 2024 are about to get an in-depth audit.
Here's a look at today's top stories. Now let's find out what's trending.
Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent, in an interview on Thursday, said that if President Trump decides to impose, in quote, maximum economic pressure on Iran, military strikes would likely not restart.
Well, that's great, but the rest of the world's got to play along, don't they? I mean, if we're doing this on an island, then Iran can just be like, okay, pound sand, no pun intended, because they just, right, they'll do business with everybody else. That doesn't, I don't know. I'm off it.
You're like, we've been in war for
way too long
years already.
Yeah, we're in like week 15
right.
of a 4-week war.
Well, the FBI arrested a woman Wednesday who they allege was plotting to attack the New York State Capitol building in Albany.
Did we find any of the women bombers? So this went down a bad path last hour because I tried to.
I know.
Well, normally when someone's bombing something, it's a man, and I'm not trying to be sexist. It's just that's how it plays out. Because I Googled women bombers, and I got a gorgeous selection of jackets.
So. Nope. Okay. See, that's completely wrong. I was Googling. No, in history, we have very rarely have had a woman bomb or plan to bomb anything.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's just not your every day. It's good.
It's normally men.
Yeah, I know.
Yep.
Look at that. No ceilings.
All right, we've got a follow-up on why wine consumption is down. Yesterday, we were saying that, what was it, 300%, something like that. A Gallup survey of 1,200 adults living in all 50 states has found that 54% of them do consume alcohol, the lowest reading since the polling organization started tracking Americans' drinking habits since 1939.
So if 54% do, 46% don't. And I don't understand that number at all. I do and I don't. I just don't know, like, what we had. Was it Dwayne commented saying he just doesn't think about it? That's fair. I guess that's fair. Not my world.
Really? Oh, I think about it.
Well, that's the
Ooh, I think
problem is
about
once
it.
you start
Not saying
thinking
I'm
about it. Yeah,
alcoholic.
exactly. But once you start thinking about it, it's on. So 46% say they don't drink alcohol at all. My level of curiosity moves over towards, is there another outlet? What other outlet are they going to? Just if
How
you're
do you
winding down at the
cope?
end of the day. Right. What are you doing over there? Unreal.
I mean, would it be yoga? Would it be meditation? Would it be cannabis? I mean, I'm curious at this point because I'm sorry. At the end of a workday, I gotta have a martini.
Well, and that's the thing, though, is the rise of THC products. We have the THC sodas in grocery stores now. We have like legalized marijuana in a number of different places, and it's growing not just from a medicinal perspective, but for a recreational perspective as well. So it's just everywhere you turn, there are more alternatives to drinking, and people are chasing them. And I don't know that we're going to find that anything else is healthier when you're consuming something. I mean, I don't think we will find that out, but it's going to be attractive in the short term. So I don't know. We'll see. FlyBTR.com is the website for the Baton Rouge Metro Airport. FlyBTR.com, making your travel plans for business this fall. Making your travel plans for maybe a quick getaway for the family over Thanksgiving break. That's just around the corner as well. Please consider the Baton Rouge Metro Airport when you do. It's not just about the general ticket price, okay? And you can find deals all over the place. But it's also about the whole experience. With the Baton Rouge Metro Airport, when you fly somewhere and come home, you're home. Once you're home, you're home. If you drive down to New Orleans and take the Armstrong Airport, once you're home, you're still an hour away from home. Give it a look. Baton Rouge Metro Airport, flybtr.com. The TSA experience is completely different than it is the herding of a mass of humanities down in New Orleans, and the parking prices. I mean, think about this. You could park and pay every single day, full day rates, full week rates over in New Orleans, or you just Uber yourself to the airport in Baton Rouge. It's just that simple. You could save money at a number of different spots along the way when you consider the whole experience. flybtr.com. $7:15, Talk 107.3 FM, WBRP. Mornings with Brian Haldane, rolling right along, broadcasting live from Legisgator 2026. Our coverage this year brought to you by the Louisiana Chemistry Association, the TJC Group, who we'll talk to in our next segment, Continuum Strategies, who we talked to a lot yesterday, and Caterus, Commonwealth LNG. Keeping the conversation moving, we got Desiree Lemoyne in from Industry Makes, who sponsors the show every day. Desiree, welcome back. How are you?
Good morning. I'm good.
Glad to have you on this morning.
It's good to be here.
Yeah, well, so, and like I was saying in the last segment, I give you full credit. You were the first one to say you need to bring the show to Legisgator. And so it did. And it was an amazing success last year. So we repeated it this year. We're back.
Awesome.
So tell me a little bit about your experience this year, because we're kind of walking through the whole evolution of Legisgator, that it's 3 days now.
Right. So it's Wednesday through Friday now, which is the first time, as you've mentioned. Normally it's just been a Friday, a big Friday event.
Right.
But I think that so far it's been packed with little seminars and presentations by business leaders and things people need to know about.
Right.
So I think it's been great. I think it's been fantastic.
So
Now, don't get me wrong. I'm ready to go home.
well, of course. See, the worst part about Legisgator is as soon as the lunch is over with, I mean, it's like getting out of Tiger Stadium to get out of this parking lot.
That's true.
If we could figure out a way, maybe we'll get Elon Musk on some vertical launch next.
That would be great. I want to be the first one to try it.
We'll go the Jetsons route for starting next year. So
It's coming. Technology's moving that direction.
no, next week's gonna be big. And I'm not talking about Tuesday, but next week's gonna be big. Sticking around with roll it back. Did you get here on Wednesday?
I did.
Okay. What did you see? What did you hear on Wednesday when Lobby had the reins?
Well, I didn't go to the lobby event.
Okay.
I got here later.
Oh, all right.
So I couldn't get here till about 6.
Okay.
So that party was over by the time I got here.
Yeah.
But I did all of the after
The hospitality suite?
yes,
Yeah.
all of that. The mingling.
Okay.
And went to their suite and kind of got the lowdown on it. And it seems like everybody really enjoyed it between workforce and all of the other panels that they had. It was well attended and well received, it seems.
Yeah, very much so. And for those that if you've been to Washington Mardi Gras, you know what the hospitality suites are like. It's very, very similar to that. It's just a whole hallway
That's right.
of suites, and different companies, different outlets they'll host a room. You go in, you're talking with their people. They'll tell you why what they do, why they're awesome, and how collaboration can come out of that.
That's
I
right.
stopped by Lobby yesterday. I stopped by Adam's suite yesterday.
Yeah.
Adam from Leaders.
Yep.
You know who I got to know yesterday? The
Who's
people at GIS.
Yes.
Oh,
Yes.
fantastic!
I mean, that's our neck of the woods.
Yeah. Exactly, and the work they do is phenomenal. And then eventually made my way all the way down, and I was talking with Dr. Roos over at LSU.
You crashed LSU's?
I did.
I did too.
I did. I was in desperate need of a cookie,
Right.
which is why all the work at the gym never does anything. We got Desiree Lemoyne from Industry Makes. For those that are unfamiliar, if I don't tell the story well enough on a day-to-day basis, let's take a deeper dive into what you do,
Okay.
what Industry Makes is all about.
Well, what we do is we are a 501c4. So we advocate mostly on the local level. We leave the state lobbying and the federal lobbying to the statewide associations, the lobbies, the LCAs, the LAMOGAs. What we try to do is fill that vacuum at the local level.
Yeah.
And so when projects come and when investment comes to Louisiana, they have to go to the locals first.
Yeah.
And it's very important that the local governments know who, what, when, where, and why.
Right.
And we make that happen. And it's also important that these investments are, and I'm going to use my air quotes, are socialized to the communities so that the communities also have buy-in.
Yes.
So they understand what's going on and the benefits that are coming to their area so that there's not so much, because, the fear of the unknown. So we try to get in there with the companies and hold intimate meetings with neighborhoods. We don't really do big town hall meetings because the last thing you want is someone with a microphone yelling at you all the time.
Right.
So we try to get in there and invest in the communities before a little little social investment in the communities. Before permit hearings, we try to give them all the information that they need, so that they understand the benefits that are coming in their communities. So,
how difficult is it to stay ahead of the internet? Because when you talk about, providing accurate information, it is seemingly impossible to get accurate information out before false information gets out.
That is very accurate, and it is a hindrance
Yeah.
to a lot of these projects. And sadly, it's a whole lot easier to draw up mass hysteria over these social sites than it is to calm it with data and fact.
Right.
And we oftentimes find ourselves chasing our tails because of that. In every town, in every place you go to invest, you always are going to find someone who is very confident in their ignorance and pushes it around.
Confident in their ignorance.
And pushes ideas around that they really don't understand.
Yes.
So that's why I believe Industry Makes is so important, because we represent the companies that are making these investments, and we can go in and give the information. Because I'll be honest with you, Brian, when a company talks about themselves, people are going to look at that with a crooked eye because they have skin in the game.
Well, sure.
So we try to serve as that third party,
right.
To come in and vet that information with the hope and the intent that they understand that we look at both sides, but we want to show the benefits.
Right.
There's very few things that aren't beneficial when billion-dollar investment comes to communities. Very few. But if there are any, we want to talk about them, and we want to know how we can work with the community to fix them.
And see, that's where it gets frustrating, because, and I can't imagine, because you do this on a day-to-day basis, I get to dial out, you have to clock in. It gets so frustrating when you hear such. And I've been using the term whack-a-mole way too much, but they're all whack-a-mole arguments. When you shut down one argument, another one's going to pop up, and you don't know which one's popping up again. But you smack that one, and another one pops up, and before you know it, the first argument you already smacked down has popped up once again, because I don't know, it's been 10 minutes, so let's run it back out there.
And that's how we know it's paid. That's how we know the influence is coming from outside.
Right.
Because they've just recently, when I say they, I mean the national organizations have just recently tried to rerun the whole industry creates premature births and stillbirths. Well, they ran that back in the 80s, and Dan Bornay was on Oprah Winfrey. So they've tried that already.
Wait, what?
Yeah.
I haven't even heard this one yet.
Yeah, that industry in the industrial corridor, there's an amount of births that don't reach term, and they blame it on industry.
Okay.
So they tried to re-up that a couple of months ago, and I was like, I'm old enough to remember when Dan Bornay had to go on Oprah Winfrey, because Oprah came down to the industrial corridor to investigate.
Yeah.
So you're right, they rerun those arguments because it's a new generation that perhaps hasn't heard it yet.
Sure. I mean, Oprah was 40 years ago.
That's
so,
right.
yeah.
That's right. So that's how we know that there's big money behind that.
Okay.
And how we also know that their arguments are artificial and speculative at best.
So you mentioned Dan Bornay. He used to head up Louisiana Chemical Association, now the Louisiana Chemistry Association.
Correct.
Who's David Cresson is running that right now.
Yeah.
When David first told me the incidence of cancer in Cancer Alley are lower than the average for the rest of the state, I was blown away.
Yep.
Because when you take that into account and you add this to it, because of industry, those who actually do contract cancer now have health care.
Yes.
Those two, that 1-2 punch combined, ought to just send people back to their holes and say, we're not going to try and be confident in our ignorance anymore. But it doesn't.
No, and the lifespan is higher inside the industrial corridor than outside. The economics are higher inside the industrial corridor than outside, and all of that is on the Chemistry Association's website, the Louisiana Health Facts, and it's sourced information. Brian, that's what's so important.
It comes from LSU Health.
It comes and LSU Health was developed through a state statute,
right?
Where you have every hospital and clinic has to turn in their cancer data.
Yeah.
And I've been to the tumor registry, the Health Science Center, and they will chase you down if you're a hospital or a clinic who has not turned in your stats.
Okay.
So it's the most accurate that we have. And I wish everyone would use that. I mean, it is so granular. You could put in your address and they will pull up every cancer that's on your street.
Really?
Yes, absolutely.
Man, incredible.
Every type, how many, whatever. And that's how we determine these quote cancer clusters. The Louisiana Health Department studies it first. And if the health department decides that there are too many of the same type of cancers in one area, they turn it over to the tumor registry for investigation. And that's how we study, and we know that there aren't cancer clusters.
We got Desiree Lemoyne from Industry Makes on with us as we're covering Legisgator. Talk to me about when you say industry, that can mean so many different things here in Louisiana. How far out does Industry Makes branch when it comes to quote unquote industry?
Well, it's manufacturing. It's oil and gas, it's chemistry, it is pulp and paper, it's electricity generation. If you're making a product and you can claim ITEP, we want to talk to you.
I like that answer.
Yeah.
If you claim ITEP. Well, because we're going in a number of different directions in the state. I mean, up in Richland Parish, this is a great example too. And I know this isn't directly y'all, but when you get outside of the Monroe area, the number of people who hate Meta and Entergy right now grows. The closer you get to where the action's happening, the more they understand what's happening and the more they love it. The people who are, well, number one, bettering their lives, bettering their family trees because of it. Number two, when you physically put eyeballs on a project, it changes it and it makes it not the boogeyman. There's just nobody under the bed.
That's right.
And the further you get away from it, the less the actual story happens and the more the told story happens.
Right.
And it's just, and I know that isn't y'all directly with Meta, but it is a great example of what you do on a daily basis.
Right. Well, the data centers don't have any place to land. There's no one protecting the data centers.
Right.
So, here is my plea. If the data centers need something, they can come to Industry Makes.
Sure.
And we'll be happy to punch back for them. But bless their hearts, they're floating out there and they're fighting their own fights. And you're exactly right. The further you're removed from one of those actual investments, it's kind of like when you tell a story, the further the line, the bigger it gets, the further down the line.
Yeah.
So it's the same thing for these investments.
Yeah.
And if Meta could put some people on the ground to talk to some people and explain to them and kind of quell their fears and tell them there is no boogeyman under the bed. And a lot of the data centers, are coming up because of the water and the water usage, the electricity usage is really the main arguments. And so a lot of the data centers, I believe, are going to work to minimize some of those impacts.
Oh, every one of them.
Yeah, and they're going to have to.
And I had a guest from Entergy on a couple of weeks ago and asked, not only are you going out of your way to do this, but every time you do it, you're learning something from it.
That's right.
So the next time's better as well.
That's right.
Because we're not done with data centers just yet.
No.
And there will be more of them.
The next time is the most accurate information you're going to get.
Exactly. Bringing it back around, though, when you see examples like that, how are you able to take that and extrapolate it back to something like, if you're seeing growth there, you're seeing growth in Ascension, like in Hyundai Steel, CF Industries, the Megaplex.
Yes.
I always say the name wrong, but it's the River Park Megaplex. Or the
River Park Megaplex. That's right.
Nailed it. It sounds like a fireworks stand.
Well, we just call it the industrial complex.
That'll work too. But to be able to take other examples from other places and say, see, if the paid opposition from out of state is lying to you over there, they're likely lying to you over here as well. Well,
they make a living off of it. It's how they put money in their pockets.
Right.
So it's just like, the jobs that we do, they're paid to do that. And the only problem is that, they don't bring they don't bring quality of life. They don't bring joy.
Exactly.
They don't bring much to the table other than a lot of screaming fear and fear mongering. And nobody likes that. Nobody needs that.
We got about a minute and a half left. Is carbon capture still the bad guy here? Is that still the boogeyman that everybody's after?
Well, I think that carbon capture still has a little mystery to it to a lot of people who were originally opposed, simply because I don't know that they really want to hear the facts about it. So, but legislatively and all of that stuff, I think that hopefully we've reached our limit on that.
Well, because it feels like it's dialed down a lot less now. Maybe it's just an outsider's perspective, but it feels like it's a lot less now because the mere mention of nuclear.
Exactly.
Let's go chase that now.
Well, that's the latest, and I've always said that. I was telling some people when we were in the midst of the carbon capture battle. I said, if they don't like industry putting carbon back in the ground where it came from. Just wait till somebody wants to put a nuke. Just wait till somebody wants to put a nuke to fire up their industry.
Right.
That's going to be a whole new game.
That's
So
unbelievable stuff. All right, so 30 seconds before we get out of here, you are going to be all the way through the luncheon today, right?
I am.
What are you looking forward to most today?
Who's the guest speaker?
I mean, it's all of our delegation up in DC, but I don't know who the speaker is on top of that. I just
I
assume
know.
the governor.
That's what I'm looking forward to.
So
It's the mystery.
Okay. Oh well, that mystery will be solved in just a few hours. Desiree, I always appreciate the time.
Thank you, Brian.
Thank
Same
you so
here.
much. Desiree Lemoyne with Industry Makes. The like I said, the first one that said, "Bring the show to Legisgator." Here comes news. We'll continue next. Oh, fantastic. Very well done.
Nasty.
All the great places in Louisiana for the solo travel, couples, families, and then of course our international business as we welcome the world to Louisiana.
Public schools will put greater emphasis on getting students moving beginning next school year. State Superintendent of Education Clay Ruffley says the old standards ask students to identify and name a skill. New standards require them to actually demonstrate those skills.
Hey, Breland.
Hey,
Do we have Nick?
let me call him.
Okay.
Yep, let me go ahead and call him. Hold on.
Very heavy for your Friday morning, 22 minutes from the I-10 and west of I-10 and traffic is in the 8-minute drive from Haldane Road up to the new bridge.
What's Nick? What's his last name, Brian? Hey, Nick. It's Breland with Talk 107.3. Hey, doing good. We are in commercial right now, but we're almost at the end of it. So 30-ish seconds. And then Brian's going to pick up on his end. Okay. Okay.
Stores are spending millions lobbying on one-sided policies and small businesses from home. They want to enact harmful credit card mandates that take resources away from your local credit union and community banks, leaving Main Street businesses with less access to credit, making it harder
These products for people and provide all the services to be optimized efficiency for businesses across all industries. As a nationally recognized legal dealer, we have decades of expertise in education, engineering, health, finance, and beyond. Our desktop solutions provide your customers a fit and your business is at 100 employees strong.
Where we at, Berlin?
We are still in commercial, about to go in the weather. Nick is on the phone.
Cool. Good. Thank you.
What? How do you spell his last name?
Johnson?
Oh, never mind. I didn't know it was Johnson.
Okay.
Okay. I'll just put Nick down.
Oh, yeah. Sorry about that.
Making sure it wasn't those weird Cajun.
Yeah. All good.
Oh, when are we doing this day? Brian, when are we doing this day? Okay. Well.
736 Talk 107.3 FM WBRP. Mornings with Brian Haldane, rolling right along. Coming to you live from Low Bearish Casino in Lake Charles. Breland, pull me out of my ear, please. Coming to you live from Low Bearish Casino for Legisgator 2026. Our Legisgator coverage is brought to you by the Louisiana Chemistry Association. David Cresson is going to be on with us at 8:35. Brought to you by Continuum Strategies. We talked with Lana Venable a good bit. Yes, a fantastic conversation with Lana yesterday. Brought to you by Caterus Commonwealth LNG. You'll see them on the big step and repeat, but this ginormous step and repeat behind us here. And of course, brought to you by the TJC Group as well, who is that's where we're going to turn right now. Here with me, we've got Blanche Gallagher on the hotline back in studio. We've got Nick Johnson. Welcome aboard. How you doing?
I'm doing great, Brian. Thank you for having me.
No, glad to have you on here. Nick, how's things back home?
It's going great. Just appreciate you having us on.
No, glad to have you on. So are you on your way here, or are you y'all just sent Blanche and said, have fun?
No, look, we sent Blanche to have a good time. Unfortunately, I had to hold down the fort and get some things done. I got a client in Ohio that I'm leaving out next week for, so I had to get some things done. But we sent Blanche and Jude to have a good time and get some things done.
Very, very good stuff. We got a number of different things to talk about. There's no way we don't start with Hyundai, though, because that has been huge. And that has also been, dare I say, beautiful. The way the relationship is growing, the way the partnership is growing, the way they have just become Louisiana seemingly overnight. Let's start with you, Blanche. Talk to me a little bit about what the TJC Group has done in bringing them in.
Yeah, so Hyundai has been fantastic. As you said, they've done a great job. And we have worked with them for almost a year now in their community and governmental relations. They are obviously a $5.8 billion project proposed for West Ascension. That's 1,300 full-time jobs, new full-time jobs. That will be absolutely transformational for the community. That's going to be a pathway of breaking generational poverty. So it's awesome. They have a public hearing coming up, and we hope we have some support there. It's September 1st at the Lemon Center in Donaldsonville.
Okay.
And then before that, they've got an open house on August 27th, also at the Lemon Center.
I want to talk about the generational poverty part of this, because this is one of the more important parts of the whole discussion. I don't think it's mentioned the most. The fact that this is West Ascension Parish, this is Donaldsonville. Donaldsonville hasn't really been a hub of, and I apologize, Donaldsonville hasn't been a hub of anything since it was the state capital before the Civil War, right? So bringing this in here, being able to change family trees, in very short order, but this is this nice sweet spot of we have good paying jobs on the way, but they're good paying jobs that you can learn how to do. Like, it's not something that is so specialized that nobody in Donaldsonville can learn how to do it. The educational track is online too.
That's right. So even those people who may not have the skills right now, Hyundai has worked with RPCC, and they are bringing the new training facility in Donaldsonville that will have a steel specific curriculum, and that will get those locals ready for those jobs. Anyone who takes the time and takes advantage of that opportunity, they can do it.
Nick, talk to me a little bit about that partnership in particular, building out with RPCC, because there's so many different facets you'll have to take on when taking on, and when bringing on a new company. I don't want to say onboarding. That's not the right word, but it kind of is. But, all the different little pieces to the puzzle, y'all's punch list, if you will. Talk to me a little bit about that relationship with Quentin Taylor and RPCC.
Right. And so, obviously, as you know, and your audience knows, workforce development is key, right? You got to have the workforce trained and ready for these jobs that are coming to Louisiana. And there's no better place to do that than RPCC. Their staff and their training programs are just absolutely spectacular. And they do a really good job of getting down into the nitty gritty of things and making sure that those students are ready to hit the workforce, to be ready to go and to have success and to build this long-term career that will eventually take, if their family has been in poverty, or if they've never had that kind of opportunity, to give them an opportunity to succeed and to just grow our economy. I think it's important that we have those colleges in place like RPCC and the different technical colleges to really train that workforce and to get them up to speed on those jobs, because it's super important to have people ready to go when these big industrial facilities come to our state. We need to have the workforce ready and trained.
Are we? Are we on time right now? Is everything? Because I know, Blanche said, we got the permits coming up in September. And Hyundai, Tim Johnson from TJC Group was on with us yesterday evening, said that Hyundai's made such an investment that they're doing all the prep work kind of on their own before the permitting even happens. So on our end, like Louisiana's end, are we on time? Are we on schedule?
Yeah, I think so. They are doing all of their site prep work right now, the things that don't require permits from the state. And so everything that they're doing right now is okay and it's approved. And so that way, whenever those permits are granted, I think they will be ready to start construction quickly. And the RPCC training facility in Donaldsonville is on schedule. I think it'll time up perfectly.
We are talking with the TJC Group, one of the sponsors of our coverage of Legisgator. We've got Blanche Gallagher on site. We've got Nick Johnson on the phone. Let's broaden out a little bit when talking about Hyundai. Let's move out to everything else, because workforce is when I say an issue, it makes it sound like a problem, but it's not a problem because we're out in front. But workforce is a topic, no matter what economic development project is coming to town. Let's talk a little bit about TJC Group's work with Susie Showen in Louisiana Works.
Yeah, so we have the pleasure of working with Secretary Showen and Louisiana Works on their Louisiana Roadshow workforce modernization. They are going across the state in different regions and having these forums with stakeholders, with education leaders, workforce development leaders, employers, just trying to bridge the gap between what the department can do to better serve our employers in the state. And I think this comes at a perfect time, given some of the legislation last session on the workforce development side, and we are just shifting to a more centralized unit or system. So that's what we're going around and talking about, getting feedback, getting perspective. So the secretary has done a great job at that.
And really, it's been noticeable. From an outsider's perspective, it's been noticeable. Nick, I want you to pick up on that, kind of run with it in this direction. Is Susie Showen is only as good as the information she's given from the field. So what's that transfer of information look like to let her know and her office know what's needed and where, and what kind of training goes into it?
Yeah, I think just more education on that training front is what's needed. Is how do we get these jobs broadcasted to the youth and to the people that even not the youth, the guys that are 30, 40 years old that are looking for a new career. How do we broadcast these jobs and do that well enough so people know that they're out there, right?
Mhm.
And I think that's been a kind of a problem over the last 20, 30 years is people see these big plants, these big industrial sites, and they don't really know what's going on. They drive by and they don't know what the jobs entail. Now you usually know somebody who works in one of them, right?
Right.
But nobody knows how to get these jobs. And I think that's the important part is educating our youth, educating the people that want to rejoin the workforce and let them know that these jobs are not something that are unattainable, right? Something that the highest of GPAs or the smartest of people have to get. That's not the case most of the time, right? And so how do we broadcast that to the youth? How do we broadcast that to anybody who wants to join this field, that these jobs are certainly attainable? The training is not something that is overly rigorous or extremely hard, that you just got to get in there and apply yourself. And I think that's the main thing here is how do we let these kids know that there's opportunity, right?
No, absolutely. We're talking with we got Nick Johnson on the hotline. We got Blanche Gallagher here with us. They're both with the TJC Group, one of the sponsors of our Legisgator coverage. Nick, tell me about caps.
Yeah, so caps have been something that we kind of have been the front porch of the TJC Group, so to speak, for the last 36 years. So I'll give you a little background around caps and why they became a thing. So a CAP is a community advisory panel, right? It's kind of self-explanatory in terms of what it is. But in I believe it was the summer, it may have been the fall of 1984 in Bhopal, India, there was a massive leak of gas at a Union Carbide facility that ended up injuring over 500,000 people. And so as a response to that, the American Chemistry Council in the United States got together and said, we have to do a better job of informing our nearest neighbors of what's going on, communicating, and overall just keeping our employees safe, and two, the communities in which we operate safe, right? And so they kind of formed what they call responsible care. And in responsible care, they state that we've got to be a better neighbor. We've got to be a safer neighbor. And so we've got to inform these community members of what we're doing and how, we can better serve them. And so out of responsible care came community advisory panels. And so in October of 1990, our president, Tim Johnson, facilitated his first community advisory panel. And 36 years later, we are the number one firm in the country in terms of the management, creation, and professional facilitation of community advisory panels. We do more than 21 CAPs currently, representing more than 75 different industrial sites around the country. So this is something that, has been in the works for a long time. It's something that has worked. We've seen it work, and it really allows, that opportunity for the community and the site leadership to connect and talk about issues about workforce and safety and all of those different things that are important for that community that surrounds that site to know.
Well, if you don't,
it's just go ahead, Brian.
No, finish it out. I cut you off. Sorry.
No, it's just a fantastic opportunity for these people that live around this site to learn more, to really get to know the people that are behind the process, because oftentimes that is forgotten that we're all human. We all make mistakes, but they're human at the end of the day. And so it really allows those community members to see that and have those important, honest discussions.
But you can never maintain trust if you don't build trust.
That's right.
So
that's exactly
right.
And
that's why it's twofold, to be sure. Nick Johnson, Blanche Gallagher, thank y'all both so much for a couple minutes this morning. Fantastic stuff. Appreciate it.
Thank you for having us, Brian.
No, thank you, Brian. We appreciate the opportunity, and look, you guys have a good weekend, and hopefully next year I'll be at the Legislator. That's my plan.
We got to get you at the table, man. We'll see you next year.
That's right. Thanks, Brian.
Thank you. All right, we're coming up on, and thank you, Blanche, as
Yeah,
well. If we're
thanks.
coming up on 750 at Talk 107.3 FM, WBRP. Quick check of your money now. After the break, we are going to have an abbreviated This Day in History. That's coming up next. We're moving up This Day in History so we can get to Scott Walker in the 8 o'clock hour, Anna Johnson in the 8 o'clock hour, and David Cresson in the 8 o'clock hour. Our coverage of Legisgator continues next.
Thanks, Brian. Appreciate you.
See you, man.
It's just talking. You do that every once in a while, right? Yeah. Yeah. Well, awesome. Yeah. No, I mean, anything. So Tim, our boss. They're tired. Anything we can do for you. Yeah. The board is yeah, I mean, that's yeah, exactly. Yeah, maybe you can get a good copy.
Yeah.
Some type on here.
Awesome. Yeah, well, we're going to have some fun.
It doesn't, not everyone's phone. I think. So share. Yeah, check out.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, it's the new.
Yeah, that's what I'm learning. And I will hand out a visiting process.
I mean, yeah, no, I still do. All right, I just sent you. At least one of them.
Yeah, thank you. I appreciate it. Nice to meet you.
What?
I'll be around.
I'm sure you hear about it. Not see you.
Yeah, sure. Bye, Brian. Thank you. Appreciate you.
Oh, yes. So, once the session opens, right, and everybody files their bills, there's a period to file bills after the session's open. And every year I'm like, you're not prepared. If you're writing a bill after the session's open, you're not. It's
It's
going to be bad.
Yeah.
You know.
It was like any high school sports, right? Like my daughter ran track. It's like if you're not ready by the start of the season, you're not ready. Right? Like the start of the season will not get you ready. If you haven't been training for the 3 months before that.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's what Nick Saban always preach: process.
Yeah.
Process. What happens on Saturday actually happened on Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. So I'll be back here in about 10 minutes.
Yeah. See you in about 10. Oh.
Brian,
Yeah.
what time are you roughly going to be back with the car if you had to guess?
Tonight.
Okay. I'm going to take the car.
Yeah.
I have time. Okay.
Probably 5 or 6, maybe a little bit later than that.
Okay. What I may do is I'm going to come get it from you at the station.
Mhm.
I'm going to bring it to Texas Club for Tyler Farr. And then I'm going to bring it home with me tonight because I have Guardian Day bright and early in the morning.
Yeah.
So that's why I was wondering.
Yeah, no, I know. It's coming back tonight for sure, or today, this calendar day for sure. I am so wiped and exhausted right now. Like
I don't blame you.
It's so after the luncheon, I'm taking a nap before I take on the interstate.
You need to, because I don't.
So,
You need to be careful.
yeah, and the hotel actually doesn't have me checking out until tomorrow. So I told them I was like, I have a late checkout tomorrow. They're like, no, you don't have a checkout tomorrow. I'm like, well, I'm checking out, but so
Oh my gosh.
yeah. Well, no, they said it's easier to put me down for 2 days and then take one off than it is to put me down for 1 day and give me a late checkout.
Okay.
7:55, Talk 107.3 FM, WBRP. Mornings with Brian Haldane rolling right along. We got one segment to go in hour number 2. Yes, we're broadcasting live from Legisgator. Yes, that is courtesy of Continuum Strategies, Louisiana Chemistry Association, TJC Group, and Cataris Commonwealth LNG. Yes, all that is true, but we're going to step away from our Legisgator coverage for about 4 minutes so that we can bring you this day in history.
All right, Brian, in 1911, the theft of the Mona Lisa. Here's the thing. No one even knew who she was at the time. And
What?
then her picture was stolen from the Louvre by a house painter and a handyman back in the year 1911. She wasn't found for 2 years, but the whole media sensation around her at the time, which in 1911, what media? But okay. Surrounding the theft helped take the painting from what it is today, as we know her as the Mona Lisa. I never knew that. That's pretty cool. Not cool, but the story behind her getting stolen, making her famous.
I'm just, it's 1911. It's not like someone was going to talk about the theft on their podcast,
Right. Or on the news.
On this week's installment of New Detective, it's
Right.
no. It's the Mona Lisa. Someone stole it. Let's find them.
Right. 1939, Louisiana's own Master of the Telecaster is born. This is such a cool little nugget. So it's a
What?
guy that was born in Minden, Louisiana. Legendary guitarist James Burton entered the world. He became Elvis Presley's right-hand man as the leader of the TCB band. And if you ever heard the best of the 50s and the 60s, you might have heard of James Burton, but he was born in Minden, Louisiana, and he's known as the Master of the Telecaster.
So it's his birthday.
Yeah. Yes. It's his
Okay.
birthday today.
All right.
Yes. I thought that was so cool.
Yeah.
That was so cool. 1942, Bambi hit theaters. Let's see. 1961, Motown hits #1 for the first time. And they signed the Marvelettes as their very first, and they went #1 with it, essentially launching the next 2 decades of what we know as the Motown sound.
Okay.
Let's see. 1987, Dirty Dancing hits theaters.
Nice.
What else you got?
This day in 1959, Hawaii became a state.
I had that. I was like, do I put that in there? I should.
Well, I mean, it's not as important as Dirty Dancing. It's just a state.
I love me
But
some Patrick
also,
Swayze.
on this day in 2005 was the last day. 2005. Sorry. That was the last day that Jazzland / Six Flags down in New Orleans. That was their last day. They closed up shop after this in 2005 and never reopened.
Really?
Well, I mean, the hurricane hit. The hurricane didn't really knock it out that bad, but the Jazzland never recovered after today in 2005.
I had a season pass, Brian. I loved it.
To Jazzland?
I had a season pass to Jazzland.
Oh, you were down that way, though. That's
Yes,
an
I was in
important part of the
Houma. It
story.
was easy for us to go, and then Six Flags.
Yeah.
I miss it. I do. I miss it. Okay. Birthdays on this day. Casey Musgraves, big, well-known artist in country music. Kenny
Mhm.
Rogers, also country music. Unfortunately, she did just pass, but Hayden Panettiere does have a birthday on this day.
Okay.
Who else you have?
Usain Bolt.
Okay. No notable deaths. I do have, if I can find my list again for the National Day, I believe it's National Draft Day. National, hang on. National. There it is. There it is. No, I have National Senior Citizens Day, but there was another day I had. That was
Poets Day is what I had.
Yeah,
So-
well, let's go with poets.
All right, we'll do that. Hey, before we get you to the top of the hour, real quick, let me remind you that for more than 115 years, ExxonMobil has helped power Louisiana through good jobs, a strong focus on safety, and long-term investment in the community. As energy needs change, ExxonMobil is applying that experience to new solutions like carbon capture and storage. If you want to learn more about that, you can visit aboutlaccs.com, aboutlaccs.com. One more hour. Oh, shoot. Sorry, I didn't mean to yawn in your face, Facebook. That's on me. Let me hop back in and see what's going on. So we had a little bit of chat going on. Walter says, "Wake up." It's easier said than done, my man. It's been a slog this week. I've been all over the place.
This is one of those weeks, Brian, where you need a red line. Just saying.
Yeah, no, I do. I need a lot more than that. The drive home's gonna be a beast. Honestly, I'm stopping in Scott because yes, I want boudin, but also I don't know if I could sit for 2 hours without falling asleep.
Brian, if you do go to Best Stop or Don's, I will Venmo you.
Okay.
If you get boudin or crackling,
All right.
please. I gotta have me some Lafayette.
Well, I'm not getting you crackling because it's not gonna be fresh by the time you get it.
Right. Just give me a link.
Okay.
And I'll Venmo you.
Like frozen?
No, fresh is fine, and that's okay if it's because I'm getting a car straight from you. If that makes sense. Like when you get here, text me when you get to the station. I'm gonna come and get it for $1.04.
All right.
And that's gonna be my dinner.
Okay. Done and done.
Chad, who else wants boudin?
No.
I know.
No.
Brian's like, please don't.
You do the same thing on Foodie Friday.
Right.
Mm-hmm. All right. We got about 3 minutes to. And we are.
This is the Bloomberg Money Minute. Delta has won a major important victory to take its partnership with Aeromexico and appeals court rejected a Trump administration order that would have forced the airlines to break up their alliance. The court determined that the government had applied its standards to their deals and to other airline partnerships. The Transportation Department says it will review the decision and consider it law. Even though stocks are heading for a higher open this Friday, the S&P 500 is on track for its first weekly loss this month. Crypto-linked stocks would take winners today, including Coinbase and Robinhood. Bitcoin is looking at its best week in more than 3 years. And higher prices for memory chips are making video games more expensive to play. Nintendo Switch pre-sales last month were less than half than what they were July of last year, according to the economy. Overall spending on gaming hardware in the U.S. fell 29% to $218 million. That is the lowest monthly total. And 40s on a hook, Bloomberg Radio.
Now a check on your drive from the Talk 107.3 Traffic Center.
Still working an accident on westbound I-10 at Dalrymple. That is blocking the center and right lanes, affecting traffic coming from Highland Road, also affecting your westbound I-12 traffic. If you're coming eastbound from Lawndale, no delays on the interstate over the new bridge through downtown. Also, no issues along the 110. I'm Joshua Dutch.
This report is sponsored by Discover. With the Discover Cashback Card, it's payback time when you earn cash back on everyday purchases. Activate and earn 5% cash back in different categories each quarter on up to $1,500 in purchases. It pays to Discover. See discover.com/fine for details.
This report comes to you from the Talk 1073 Traffic Center.
At Unique Aesthetics and Wellness, Botox, Serum, and Dysport, always $8 a unit at myuniqueaesthetics.com.
Talk 1073 Weather.
Extreme heat warnings are back up today as highs reach the upper 90s and heat index values go over 110. Sunshine expected early with clouds mixing in, but today we got better thunderstorms, especially late this afternoon and this evening. There are hints of worse storms will move through overnight as lows drop to the mid-70s. Sunny and hot this weekend. Chances for rain will be slim, but a few spotty storms are possible. Highs in the 90s. Expect the heat alerts to continue. I'm meteorologist Dave Baker. Storm Station Forecast WRC Channel 2.
We're not done yet. More news, more newsmakers. Hour 3 of Mornings with Brian Haldane. Starts now.
Brian, when you're ready. Brian? Brian, your mic is hot.
That's the one.
Brian,
Yep. Are we in?
your mic is hot. Go.
806 Talk 1073 FM WBRP. Hour 3 of Mornings with Brian Haldane coming your way right now. Brian here with you, broadcasting live from the Low Bears Hotel Casino in Lake Charles. This is Legisgator 2026. If you're just hopping on board, Bree Lynn's back in the 180 Pro studio. I got let out of the studio for half the week really. Rewind the clock. We were at Louisiana Travel Association on Wednesday on Canal Street, New Orleans at JW Marriott. Then Thursday, I had to walk half a mile to get to the Riverside Hilton for the Louisiana Department of Insurance, and then we hightailed it up here. Did a show last night. Now doing a show this morning because Legisgator is where it's at right now. Quick mention: our coverage of Legisgator brought to you by Caterus, Commonwealth LNG. Brought to you by Continuum Strategies, the TJC Group, and the Louisiana Chemistry Association, which David Cresson is going to be on with us about half an hour from right now. Right now, though, we got to bring on the mastermind. I mean, this is the dude that made this thing into what it is. Scott Walker is with the Southwest Louisiana Economic Development Alliance. How are you, man?
Good. I'm good. It's great to be here in Lake Charles this morning.
And so far, it's been nothing but rave reviews because this Legisgator last year versus Legisgator this year, there's no comps here. Other than the luncheon that's going to happen later today, this is a brand new beast.
It is. It is. We knew that this awards program that we've been doing for decades had an opportunity to expand and grow and really be a focal point for the conversation about where Louisiana is headed. And so we, last year, as we were heading into the event, we started that conversation. Really, I have to, hand everything over to Michelle McGinnis because it's been her event for a long time, and she is so exceptional at what she does. Our first conversations were, could we grow this? What do you think? And she said, I think we could. And we decided to really approach the right partners to help us grow it into a statewide policy conference.
Right.
And we hit the ground running. And so we brought Lobby, Will Green's team, and then Adam Knapp and his team from Better Louisiana in. And we've had 2 days of great conversations here. Lots of discussion about the energy sector, workforce development, community development. How do we make our places of higher quality that people want to come to?
Right.
One of our goals here in Southwest Louisiana, our new strategic plan, is to grow the population here in our part of the state by 100,000 people by 2036.
Wow.
That's
bold.
Yeah. So we're at 300,000 now, and we want to hit 400,000 by 2036. And so we know we have this great economy going. We've got Commonwealth LNG Cataracts project down in Cameron just reached FID. We've got other great projects that are in the works as well, with all of that great investment in the LNG sector that we've already seen in our petrochem companies. And so we have so much great opportunity here, and we want to help the state. We want to help develop what that path is going forward.
Talk with Scott Walker from the Southwest Louisiana Economic Development Alliance. So the last 2 days have been, it was lobby one day, leaders for Better Louisiana the next day, and then today's the traditional legislator. Has this just organically, as it's kind of come along, has this been 3 events that are co-branded, or has it kind of already become one big thing?
I think it's been a seamless for the experience of the attendees. It's been seamless.
Yeah.
Because we've been partnered really tightly with the 2 organizations. And we had our opening reception for Legisgator on Wednesday evening, and all of us were there. And then it went through then Lobby's event on Wednesday afternoon and all the way through. And so we marketed it as 3 events at Legisgator, but I think from the attendee standpoint, it's been pretty seamless.
So
great conference.
Different panels, different tracks during the day, which we got the lowdown on that from Mary Beth from Lobby yesterday, and we got the lowdown on that from Adam this morning. But bringing in the Washington Mardi Gras style hospitality suites, that has been an unbelievable difference maker as well.
Yeah, I think so. And it wasn't there were groups who were hosting events and doing things here in the past as well. And we wanted to really codify that and formalize it, right? Because a lot of those great conversations happen outside the conference. Did you hear what somebody said at that panel? What do you think about that? And that's what we really wanted to foster.
So
build these connections, make those friendships, because change, as Secretary Bourgeois says, change happens at the speed of trust.
Yes.
Right. And so,
yes.
And so that's what we're building here.
Love that. And it really goes back to, this is one of the things that I think it was Adam that said it. It creates more of a retreat environment. You know, you go on a retreat and you listen to someone talk, and then you have a breakout where you're talking amongst yourselves. That different setting, that different scenario, especially when we're all away from our home, walls can be broken down. We can let our guard down a little bit. We're in a casino, for crying out loud. So, but it creates a different environment to spark different conversations, spark different levels of creativity. And it does so at a time where there's time to refine it and then put pen to paper when it comes to legislative session.
For sure. And these casinos do a great job too. This is a great business conference, and it feels like a business conference. It happens that it's at LaBerge Casino and Golden Nuggets right next door, but they do a great job at these types of events. Right.
Oh, yeah.
And so there's been great conversations that I've been involved in on community development side. How do we build cities for people? And how do you fund that? That's really the critical thing that we have to figure out as a state. We have this great economic development. The next thing is, are we a destination for talent? Are we the place where talent wants to come? Right. Other states have faced this issue before too. And that's what we brought in some experts around the country who have been working in these sectors. And we brought our mayors together for a great mayor panel yesterday as well. And so that's what we're trying to do.
The community development part, this the second or third time I've heard about how strong of an emphasis this is. Where does that stem from? Because it feels like we have so many great communities already. Is there something to that when you can develop community, it opens up more space for target sites for economic development?
So when you're working with companies, always in that top 5 of issues they want you to address is talent.
Okay.
Where am I going to get my talent? Are the people I'm going to want to hire going to want to live
community development on the people side? Okay.
Right.
Okay.
So you have to have. We're competing. For talent with every other city in the U.S.
Right.
People can go anywhere. Right. And so we need to be a destination. People need to come here, see it, and want to be here. They need to see those plans. They need to see that quality of place investment.
Right.
And it's from everything. Like, are you taking care of your roads? right?
Yes.
Are you building
Are you building-
pedestrian and bike lanes? Are there parks? Are there amenities? Are there things for kids to do for my family?
So the infrastructure part of that was the part that I was going with. The question was like when you see, so like Meta up in Northeast Louisiana, when you see, Cameron is about to, just be all over the map, but not quite developed. Everybody's Lake Charles down to Cameron, right?
Mhm.
So is that part of the equation here is to make sure that just from forget the people side for a second. We'll get back to them in a minute, but like from that perspective of we've got to have the terra firma and the concrete on top of it before we start anything.
Yeah, for sure. There's all of that infrastructure and a lot of I think Mayor Ronnie Walker was here from Ruston,
Mhm.
and he was talking about how 10 years ago they launched Moving Ruston Forward, right,
Mhm.
which was an infrastructure plan, but also quality of life. But then it's had a tenfold increase in their economic development and that new chip plant, that microchip plant that's coming.
Yep.
First one in Louisiana, as he calls it, is a testament to making those investments, right?
Yeah.
And that's one of the things I think that our elected officials, it's all about quality of place in managing that as their portfolio, right? It's not just about attracting companies in because companies are looking at they can go anywhere. Will there be the talent that they need?
Absolutely.
And I think LED Louisiana Economic Development understands this at Mardi Gras this year at DC Mardi Gras.
Yep.
They launched Louisiana Now.
Oh,
and
yeah.
they've been here talking about that as well. And so they know that storytelling is so critically important. We have great amenities here.
Yes, we do.
We have to double down, invest. And
Yeah.
so how do you do that is the question. And there are tools and there's ways to get it done. And so that's why we brought in some experts from outside, but we also had this great panel of mayors who are getting it done. And Mayor Ronnie Walker from Ruston, I
Mhm.
interviewed him in one of those panels.
Yep.
And so that's what we're looking at.
It's by the way, talking to mayors is my favorite thing in the world because every one of them just so purely loves their city.
Mhm.
It just glows and comes from them. And yeah, talk about the Louisiana Now storytellers. I got one of the medallions. I keep it on my desk. I keep it on my desk as a reminder that we do have a story to tell.
Mhm.
Like, just as a state, we have a story to tell, and we need to be telling our story on a regular basis. We got about a minute and a half left. I want you to tell the rest of the story of Southwest Louisiana. What's going on? We know everything in the LNG world,
Mhm.
but has that grown to the part where we're seeing the peripheral stem off from it?
Yeah, so that's the first part of our strategic plan. One of the first priorities is diversifying the economy and increasing innovation capacity.
Mhm.
And so diversifying the economy looks like projects coming in that leverage our strategic advantages, competitive advantages that we have, but use them in a different way. And so that's like a Clara, which is launched at the Port of Benton, $270 million or $300 million investment.
Okay.
Heavy rare earth elements refining facility. And so those are the things that go into the magnets in all of our electronics.
Okay.
Into our cars, our electric, our EV
Yeah.
cars, into everything that we use today, into those microchips, right? That the microelectronics that are used for AI. So heavy rare earth elements, they're mining in South America, they're bringing the ore here for refinement and then manufacturing. And it's not radioactive materials or anything like that. It's heavy rare earth elements. And so it's a great leverage of what we have in our strategic advantages here. We have the engineers that can design facilities like that, the construction companies that can build it, and the operators who can operate it.
Very cool stuff. And it's all spin off from success begets success, right?
Yes.
He is Scott Walker with the Southwest Louisiana Economic Development Alliance. Thank you so much for a couple minutes. Thank you for letting me post up here for a couple. I know that was all Michelle, but like for letting us post up here for a couple of shows and help tell the story along the way.
Absolutely. We appreciate the good news.
Taking a quick break. When we come back, Anna Johnson joins us next.
Louisiana's trusted leader.
Bears Hotel Casino in Lake County Pro Studio for the students. JW Marriott. Thursday, I like it. 1 o'clock. We were at Louisiana Track. We're 1 o'clock. We were at Louisiana to walk half a mile to the apartment this morning because Legisgator is where it's at. Because absolutely we appreciate it.
Who is this now?
Legisgator is brought to you by Continuum, the dude that made this thing. We got to bring up Mastermind. I mean, this is the dude that made this thing into what it is. Scott Walker is a
So come on, take it easy. Yourself before you wreck yourself.
820. Talk 107.3 FM, WBRP. Mornings with Brian Haldane. Rolling right along. We're broadcasting live from Legisgator in Lake Charles. Man, big shout out to Scott Walker for hopping on board in that last segment. Really, really good stuff coming from Southwest Louisiana. Let's pivot over and talk with the governor's office of conservation and energy. I'm impressed with myself when I get the name of the office right.
I mean, it changes once a year,
And
so
I
I'm
know,
impressed.
so.
Yeah.
Anna Johnson's with us. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
So 40 minutes ago on the show, I'm awesome. That's it. It's been a week. It's been a month this week.
You've been on the road. You've been having fun.
Oh, yes. Actually, no, I am not complaining. I'm exhausted because I've been having fun.
I'm kind of jealous, honestly.
Look, so it started with hotel people too. It started with Louisiana Travel Association. I cannot recommend this enough. If you want to party, you either party with hotel people or cops. Either way, you're guaranteed an awesome night.
And that's your background too, right?
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, no, I was in hotels before I was in radio, but that was 20 years ago. So
you know, look a day over 20.
Oh my God, stop! That's so not even close. All right, let's talk about your office at Legisgator and how it translates back to work.
Yes. So when we talked a few weeks ago, we just announced that we were one of the 5 states that were selected by U.S. Department of Energy to possibly host a nuclear innovation lifecycle campus.
Yes.
And so
that didn't lead to the right headline from certain outlets.
No, it didn't.
Oh God, that was so frustrating. By the way,
it was, and we corrected some of them. You know, and if I could just descend into sarcasm for just a moment,
sure.
It is so beyond frustrating that I feel like we're having to fight the enemy from within.
Yep.
You know,
it's been a theme today, though. That's been a theme today, though.
It really
with Desiree
is.
earlier, and
and it's so frustrating. We had to correct a legislator this week that was kind of doing the same thing, and we're like, guys, like, get on our team. It's not there. There's not always some conspiracy attached to everything. Believe it or not, we live in this state too, and we want to see it be prosperous. So.
Yep.
But anyways, let me get back on track. So we were one of the 5 finalists, and Department of Energy told us that they are expected to select 3 states by September 30th. So Monday, we're actually hosting a couple of representatives from Department of Energy.
Okay.
One of the assistant deputies for Office of Energy, the nuclear division, is coming in, Marla Morales, and her background is actually in disposition. She's fantastic. We've had so many great conversations with her. So she'll be in town with some of her team. And then we actually have a group of stakeholders from throughout the state, from LSU, legislators, business owners, stakeholders, our department, LED. So it'll be kind of a closed door working session,
Okay.
but we're super excited. This is kind of that next step into hopefully getting selected as one of the top 3.
So is James Danley in this mix? He's the
Yes.
deputy. Okay, so love him. He's been
Yeah.
on the show a handful of times. He is phenomenal to talk to because he's a mile a minute, but you understand all. Like he doesn't
Yeah.
break things down in a way that's gonna be over anybody's head.
Well, you know what's funny? In one of the very first calls that we had when we were selected as one of the 5, they told us when we present, we need to present like we're presenting to second graders.
Okay.
And I thought that was so profound, but you know, that's actually like a good rule of thumb because that's one of the things that Secretary Davidson has been very intentional about
Mhm.
is he wants to be proactive, not reactive. And so some of the things that the department has implemented just in the last 6 months alone are things like educational webinars, newsletters. We're doing regular blog posts from each of the offices within our department so that we're constantly churning out information to hopefully combat some of the misinformation that's out there. And we're asking people, communities, stakeholders, local leadership, invite us into your communities, your town halls, your chambers of commerce. We want to come talk to people. We want to educate them.
Right.
We don't want to have another misstep like we had with carbon capture. So
Well, okay, is that even possible though? Because there's always going to be a boogeyman.
right. But you know, I say this, and you know, I've been on both sides of this. I was in economic development before I was on the regulatory side, and I look at things. I think people look at things and see what they are, and as an economic developer, we look at things and see what they can be. And so, you know, it was so disheartening a couple weeks ago when New York Times put out that long article about Meta and but you know, they even contradicted themselves in that article because they talked about how there was local buy-in and the jobs and the tax revenue and things like that. But then, you know, they started to kind of come into that whole NDA discussion and things of that nature. And let's be real. NDAs have existed from the beginning of time with every administration, with every business. I never sat at the table with a large business deal without signing an NDA from that company. And that's fair. When they're negotiating the terms or they're trying to vet what state they want to be in,
right?
Why would we not sign an NDA? I mean, we are competing with other states. We don't want them to see our hand. Have you played poker? I mean, come on.
Well, and the thing of it was, and we did compete with other states for Meta. Like that wasn't just
and
right.
Hyundai too. That was 7 years in the making.
I know.
So when media outlets say, you know, this happened overnight, nobody knew about it, you didn't vet this and that, that's just not true.
No. And you know what I did when I had questions about Meta? I went up there.
Exactly.
I went up there, and you know, the amazing thing is the support of Meta, and it is in direct proportion to the proximity to Meta.
Correct.
The closer you get to Richland Parish, the more people are enthused. The further you get away, the more people are detractors because all they know is what's on the internet.
Right. And you know, these teachers that got these bonuses, you see people in the comment section on social media saying, you know, well, they were just paid off. And it's like, they were not paid by Meta. They were paid by the parish because they had the surplus of tax revenue from this project.
Right. Which is unbelievably important because that tells you that Meta is delivering on their promises. So if they're already delivering on their promises, why don't they have your trust?
Exactly.
If you make a promise and deliver on your promise, that should build trust.
Exactly.
So it just, and you see the most asinine arguments out there. Like, what happens if Meta packs up and leaves? They're a $500 billion company?
Exactly.
A $600 billion company? You don't get to be a $500 billion company by packing up and leaving.
But also, who would make that sort of investment and think that they're going to leave in 10 years?
Right. And by the way, if they are, then they're not going to be the strain on the grid that you say they're going to be.
Exactly.
It's so many contradictions within.
I heard last Friday, actually, you had I can't think of her name from Entergy who came on and kind of explained the ins and outs. Yes.
Yeah. Beecham.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh my God, she's fantastic. And she's really been such a powerful force in educating the community on a lot of these big projects. And when she lays it out, you know, I feel like people have these aha moments. I mean, I've seen what happens behind the scenes, but you know, it's when you're working on it and then you're so excited. And I remember when the nuclear announcement came out a couple weeks ago and Paige Carter and I from LED were so excited. I mean, we couldn't even sleep. And then you wake up and you get on the internet and you see these comments and you're like, it just puts a pin in your balloon. And I'm so tired of this mindset in Louisiana of people who complain but don't offer a solution. And so we finally have a governor who, I remember when he campaigned, there's articles from the Small Business Summit that I hosted that you attended where he said, my number one goal is going to be economic development. And he's delivered on that. So you have to give credit where credit is due. He always says, and I laugh, he spoke a couple weeks ago somewhere that we were, and he said, Louisiana is finally the pretty girl at the dance. Like I
was there. Where was that? I was there.
They want to ask us to dance. And so we've never had that. We have never had that in this state. And it's such a stark contrast from the last administration to now. I mean, you start to see this momentum in these projects. And he's always been very intentional in saying, I don't want quantity, I want quality.
Right.
So while other states have 300 data centers, Texas, Jeff Landry says, I don't want 300, I want 5 metas or, whatever it is. And that's measurable for our state.
Well, and Bree Lynn, we're going to run long by about 3 minutes here. So no, don't be sorry. This is way better. But so he may have, I think the governor said that on my show as well. Wherever he was, where you heard it about the pretty girl at the dance. Because I remember that cracked me up. But it's also true. And we need to learn how to be the pretty girl.
Yes.
Because there's part of that is on us as Louisianans. Just say, embrace success. Don't be afraid of it. Don't reject it.
Exactly.
We didn't realize how it would be easy it is to reject success. But you look at it from like Susie Showen, who has been
phenomenal.
I know. But before this administration, that office was all about making sure unemployed people got their benefits.
Right. Stagnant.
And then she walked in and said, you know what? Being unemployed shouldn't be its own full-time job.
Exactly.
You shouldn't have to chase over here on this day and over here on this day and over here on this day to make sure that you're still. So she curated the whole one-stop shop.
Exactly. And that goes to the bigger picture. She sees what this state can be. And she understands like workforce is going to be a huge, if not the biggest component or hurdle that we're going to face in this state. When did we ever think that was going to be our problem?
Yeah.
I mean,
because
it's a good problem to have.
We're looking at 40 to 50 years worth of losing population.
Right.
That's it's its entire generation. I believe in my entire lifetime, we've just lost population every year.
Yeah.
We've put, and I know it's like a 2,500 addition, but it's not a huge number.
Right.
But we actually turned the tide and added population.
Yeah.
For the first time in forever.
Yeah. And you're starting to see enrollment peak a little bit. I just saw the numbers that came out for LSU where enrollment has gone up. Even though they had that little twinge of tuition increase, it didn't matter. People are excited about what's going on here. They see the jobs, they see the growth, they see the awesome athletics team that we've put together. And, they see, Meta's a success story, no matter how you frame it. This is a town of 20,000 people that now has 6,000 more jobs, that now has a surplus in tax revenue. And what that's going to trickle down to for these small businesses is, you can't measure it. And so, for me, this is not a story that, Meta got everything they wanted and Louisiana got nothing. This is a story about Louisiana competing and competing for economic prosperity and winning.
Well, it's the other way to say that is Meta got everything they wanted without it costing Louisiana anything severe.
Zero.
It's and if you're Friday Ellis and you're the mayor of Monroe and you're using that as one spoke in the wheel to create more, because then when you start to see the secondary or the peripheral jobs that come in, because if Meta, during construction is going to be 6,000, that'll taper back once they're opened up. But by that time, you're going to have all the side jobs that connect back to it. You're going to have the 1,000 people that work at Meta are going to need a real estate agent. Those 1,000 people are going to need financial advisors. Those 1,000 people are going to need a gym to work out in. And just all those peripheral jobs will have increased business within themselves, if not growth within the neighborhood. And oh, by the way, when other companies see that, success begets success every single time.
And even here, so I was talking with the port director earlier this week, and she was saying, when the ITEPs roll off in this area, just from all the LNG and construction going on in this area, I think they're at sitting at, somewhere around 70 million in excess tax. And when those ITEPs roll off, it'll be 400 million. What do you even do with that money? There is not going to be a pothole in sight. We're getting a new bridge, but an area population 6,000. They don't know what to do with this money, but that's a good pot of money to start with.
Yeah, that's stupid
So,
money.
yeah.
Unbelievable stuff. All right, so give this new and improved, this new and expanded Legisgator, a quick letter grade here. And I know we're not done yet. We got the lunch and everything coming up later, but the changes are. It feels like it's all systems go very organically.
Yeah, I like the expansion. I love that. I feel like this is a pre-DC Mardi Gras where it's just Louisiana people. But I love coming to this area. Southwest Economic Alliance always does such a phenomenal job. Michelle McInnes, her whole team. I mean, you see them out here right in front of us.
Michelle has walked by 6 times during this segment alone.
Yeah, 20,000 steps in 2 hours. I mean, but it's such a fun, it really is a good central area of Louisiana that everybody loves. Traffic's not too crazy, and we can kind of all come together and breathe a little bit and debrief after session, but also like jumpstart.
I'm so curious to see what Washington Mardi Gras is going to look like this year, because we're all going to have a direction.
Yes.
This creates direction.
Yeah.
And we'll take that direction to DC, and it's like, hey, what's been the exploration since Legisgator? That to me, that's where that's going.
And then it's an election year too.
Watch me piss off everybody in Baton Rouge.
I love
and the
it.
traffic's not bad because of the loop.
Yes.
Anna Johnson, thank you so much for a couple minutes this morning. Quick break. We're not done yet. David Cresson from Louisiana Chemistry Association's next.
Sorry, I had to get Brian up here. 499-1073. Call me when you can.
Quick break. We're done. Thank you so much for a couple minutes this morning. They really roll it in that last segment. Really good stuff coming from South. Unit energy. Always. Conservation and energy. Always. I trust myself. How are you? How are you?
You should reach out for help regardless of the circumstances. We think sometimes someone might think it's silly or not a quote unquote crisis enough to reach out because of the heat, but we know that it very much is. Lieutenant Governor Philadelphia, the Louisiana Office of Tourism, announced a new marketing campaign to attract more out-of-state tourists. Secretary says the goal of the campaign this fall is to highlight the unique things in Louisiana that you don't have anywhere else.
The 400,000 festivals, the unique food, the great seafood, and all the great places to visit the state.
I'm John Burns, Talk 107.3.
Now a check on your drive from the Talk 107.3 Traffic Center.
Travel times for I-10 West and I-12 westbound are getting back to normal after earlier congestion cleared out from an accident at Haldane. Eastbound has been quiet all morning along I-10 coming across the new bridge. Through downtown on the 110, that's 5 minutes between I-10 and 190. Taking Airline, a 20-minute drive there between I-12 and Ferryville. I'm Joshua Dash.
This report is sponsored by Mattress Firm. Still sleeping on that full bed? Mattress Firm's sleep experts can help you choose the perfect upgrade. They'll guide you every step, answering your questions. Shop today and save big during the best sale of the year. They make sleep easy.
This report comes to you from the Talk 107.3 Traffic Center.
Right about here, when a company that has true lockdown warranty, ReliefWindows.com.
Looking for a real estate closing partner in Baton Rouge.
Sorry, Breland, he's here.
I was like, oh my God, I can't get him on the phone.
Yeah, sorry. But I mean, you can look up at the video and see that I'm not sitting by myself, but
Oh, well.
Yeah, no, I'm messing with you. That's on me. That's on me. How long till we're back?
Literally, we're in weather. We're about to go to a liner.
Okay.
Tell David I left him a voicemail. My bad.
Scooch this way just a touch. Well, it's been a running theme this morning. So yeah, because I had TJC group on and I had Desiree on, so it's slam dunk it. The only problem with coming to Lake Charles is everybody you know knows you're passing through Scott on the way back home. My text is blowing up with, I need this boot in, I need those crap. Like, it's just, oh, my word. All right, we're at 8:38 at Talk 107.3 FM, WBRP. We got about 12 minutes here with David Cresson from the Louisiana Chemistry Association, one of the sponsors of our coverage of Legisgator. Of course, don't forget TJC Group, Continuum Strategies, and Caterus, bringing you Commonwealth LNG, also sponsors of the coverage while we're here. David, how are you, man?
Doing great, Brian. It's been a great couple of days here in Lake Charles, beautiful Lake Charles, and seeing so many friends and friendly faces. And like you mentioned off air a minute ago, it's kind of becoming a little mini Washington Mardi Gras down here in Lake Charles.
So there's been a couple of themes of the show this morning, and that's been one of them.
Yeah.
It's because what I love about Washington Mardi Gras is the collaboration.
Yep.
It's you're in January, and you know there's a session coming up, and you're seeing people that are going to be involved in the session in one way, shape, or form, whether they're lawmakers or business people,
right,
or lobbyists or whatever. But you get some sense of direction of where the legislative session is headed when you're at Washington Mardi Gras. And by the time I'm done with Washington Mardi Gras, lobbies meeting, and then the Pelican Institute, I could call the shots before that happens in the session. This having Legisgator now, it sets the tone, sets the direction to where we're all going to be pointed in the same direction once we're in Washington. It's going to be so much more refined and amped up. I can't wait for January now because of what's happening today.
Well, and a lot of props to the organizers of the event this year. This is the best one I've been to in the years that I've been coming. But it's a story as old as time. You know, they have all the seminars and the forums and the roundtable discussions, but you know, the rubber really meets the road outside of those real formal discussions, whether it might be sitting at the bar or having dinner with somebody. There's a lot of collaboration that starts to take place in places like this, and that's really important. Louisiana is a place where relationships drive just about everything, and this is a place to build relationships.
Yeah, which is why I love the row of hospitality suites, because that's just like Washington Mardi Gras on that front. And I spent some time last night talking with the good folks at GIS.
Yeah,
they're amazing. Talking with, I spent a little bit of time talking with Dr. Roos.
Yeah.
He was posted up in the LSU suite. I walked in the LSU suite. I'm like, there's the president.
Yeah.
Holy cow. So,
well, and I'm proud that all these companies, the companies that are setting those suites up are all members of LCA and LCIA. And so GIS, you mentioned, a great company, and you just go down the row and every one of them is either one of our members or our members are there. And so it's a unique opportunity, not just for policymakers and lawmakers to come together, but business leaders to sort of be entrenched in that same group. So it's really a unique opportunity, and we're glad to be part of it.
David Cresson from the Louisiana Chemistry Association is our guest, one of the sponsors of our Legisgator coverage. Another theme from Legisgator this morning has been communication, accurate communication, and how it seems like accurate communication has been more of a reactive business than a proactive business.
We've got to push back on the false narrative that's out there about all these different industries, and you're seeing it come for whatever it is: data centers, LNG, nuclear's coming next. All the false information. The chemical industry's been dealing with this for 50 years now, and I think industry in general, I think most would agree, have been a little reticent to react, to respond to it, to push back, but we're not going to do that anymore. We're going to push back when false, because that false information, it's not an attack on LCA. It's not an attack on me personally. It's an attack on the thousands of men and women who work in this industry that make these incredible products, that go to work every day with, pride and how important they feel the work they're doing is. These people are extremely serious about how safe they are, about how much they take care of their communities, about the work they do, the products they make, and for there to be this false narrative, whether it's Cancer Alley or safety issues or pollution or whatever, all false. is an attack on a way of life here in
Mhm.
Louisiana. We cannot allow for that to continue. We've got to push back. I'm starting to see a little bit of pushback, and I see the other side getting a little nervous about it, but we can't let up.
Right.
We've got to tell the truth about all the incredible things that are starting to happen in this state and how industry is making that happen.
The Cancer Alley thing, you opened my eyes to this one a few months ago on Cancer Alley, or maybe even a year ago on Cancer Alley. We actually talked about it with Desiree Lemoyne last hour. And it's one of those ones where it's so brazen.
Yeah.
And so I do a hit on a radio show in New Orleans once a week, and the host down there talked about, he mentioned Cancer Alley. I was like, let me stop you right there.
Yeah.
Let me stop you right there. Cancer Alley, the incidence rate of incident of cancer in Cancer Alley is lower than the average rate throughout the state of Louisiana. And his response was, whatever. I mean, whatever. Yeah. No, you're just comfortable lying to people.
Yeah.
If you're going to whatever that, you're comfortable telling people a lie on a day-to-day basis.
Well, and we've been complicit with that because we've never pushed back on it. You know, there's been the scientific studies to debunk it over the years, but industry's never really stepped up to say it's a lie. And a lie is the right word, because there are some misperceptions. There's some people that just hadn't been educated about it, but the people really pushing the narrative are lying to you about it. They're doing it on purpose. Some of them are being paid to do it. And so, as you said, look, I was talking at a forum a couple days ago. Ascension Parish has 40 chemical plants in that parish. Do you know what the healthiest parish in the state of Louisiana is?
It would also be Ascension Parish.
Ascension Parish with 40 chemical plants.
Yeah.
You also know what the best educated parish in the state of Louisiana is?
Also.
Ascension Parish. You know what the second healthiest parish in the state of Louisiana is? St. Charles Parish. Full of industry,
right?
Also one of the best educated, best funded, and so we've got to push back. But what bothers me the most about it, I'm proud to serve in this role that I do, is I have the honor of representing the thousands of men and women that work in this industry, the hundreds of thousands of contractors that depend on this industry for their daily, living. I'm honored to be able to speak on their behalf to start telling the truth about this, because these people work hard. They care about these communities. They raise their families in these same communities where these companies are doing business. And so you're attacking them, the hardworking men and women of Louisiana, when you're telling these lies. And so we've got to push back. We're so proud that to partner with you and your show to help correct the misperceptions. And really, thank you for stepping up when the other host tried to push the wrong the information.
Well, to me, it's important. I mean, if you're not telling the truth, then what are you doing?
Well, and I think in Louisiana, we're so used to people telling us that, we're last on the list, or we're 50th or whatever.
Sorry, continue. I didn't mean to cut you off.
I'm just going to say we've got to start believing the truth, which is that we should be we're the best at a lot of these things. We are the best at producing these industrial products for the nation. The country couldn't operate without the products we produce right here in Louisiana. Yet we're kind of okay with just being told that we're last all the time.
Yeah.
Let's get over that. Let's start pushing the right direction. You see all this investment coming to the state. We're starting to win.
Yes.
Right. And let's go ahead and take that ball and run with it.
Yeah. Well, so you bring that up. It's a couple weeks ago, U.S. News and World Report had Louisiana ranked as last. But so I started to dig into the internals, David. They had us as 49th in education. They were using numbers from 2019. They were using numbers from before COVID, for crying out loud. They had us ranked as 46th in economy. They didn't have us ranked as they didn't factor in economic outlook, where we're 18th. It just, when you start to get into the internals, you're like, what does the U.S. News and World Report have against Louisiana? Did somebody sleep with their wife?
Yeah.
Like, it felt like they had a vendetta when you started to look at it.
I felt the same way when I saw that article, and I've really honestly thought to myself, who wrote this story? I mean, what are they writing this on? And so, the education thing, I think Louisiana has had the most improvement on education.
Number one
numbers.
in improvement in literacy and numeracy in third grade, and it drops off slightly for eighth grade, but we're moving up in that rank.
That's right.
Because the numbers are catching up with the age is catching up with the work at this point. So,
well, I think it's going to depend on your audience, the people that are listening to us right now. When
both of them,
when they see the misinformation, push back a little bit. When they see the stuff on social media, send them the link to our health website. Just here's the truth. Now you can take it as you want, but the truth is this, and we can't stand for the false information anymore.
David Cresson from Louisiana Chemistry Association is our guest. Are people still getting LCA wrong? Have they caught up to chemistry yet?
I still get it wrong. I do, sure. But the Louisiana Chemistry Association, 77 great world-class companies that make up our membership, another 600 or so that make up our LCIA membership. We had an incredible event on Wednesday in Baton Rouge, our reverse trade show, where the plants themselves come set up the tables, and then the vendors get to come in and see them at the table. Really cool event.
That was cool.
Yeah, so the plants are there with their purchasing agents and their teams and their leadership, and the contractors come in. It's like Katie bar the door when we open the doors in there. But the plants have allowed for us to do this, and it's really a value to our LCIA members. Yesterday, right here in Lake Charles, we had a cybersecurity conference that we hosted. And while all this other stuff is going on, we had 75 cybersecurity experts from our industry all in a room sharing information, hearing from the feds and state leaders and LSU about all the innovations with cybersecurity, which is a major issue in our world.
Oh God, yes.
So we've got, there's so much that goes into this. Yes, it's the incredible products we make. We make products that you cannot live day to day without.
Right.
But there's also so much more that goes into making sure we're operating safely and securely, and our companies take it very serious. And so the events like the one yesterday, the cybersecurity conference that our team put together, is just part of our operations here at LCA. And so and our partnership with you guys and Guarantee is an important part of that as well.
We value it you equally, if not more. So David, before we get you out of here, we kind of derailed. Go back to the panel.
Yeah.
Sorry, we got off on a tangent real quick. And we got about 2 minutes left with David Cresson. Go back to the panel real quick, because that's where the messaging thing came from. So start back over with that. Tell that quick story.
Well, I don't know if I've told this story on the air before, but the kind of the misinformation piece, I feel like I've made it, because I finally had a meme cartoon made about me. Yeah. So I kind of made it, and actually it kind of looked good. It didn't. I might use it as my headshot from now on. But the way it depicted sort of our industry is just right in line with all the other false information. But the panel was an excellent panel put together by Lobby and LBL, and we had a number of leaders up there, and I was pleased to be part of it. My main theme was this desire, this need for industry and for all of us, and that was the point. It's not just me from LCA. It's not just Brian Haldane. It's everybody that depends on these industries, these companies. To move this state forward, has to speak with one unified voice. We're going to be part of it. Our companies obviously will, but everybody in the state needs to push back on this narrative. I'll give credit where credit's due. The governor, LED, DC&E, they're all doing a great job pushing this in a positive direction. Legislators are obviously coming on board as well. We've got to be a unified voice, because otherwise, you let these voices into the room and it just sort of festers. So you got to kick them to the curb.
If you're not telling your own story, somebody else will.
Well, that's right, and we got to control that narrative. So we're allowing other people to tell it for us. We're going to stop doing that. And so I tell people, go to our website, get all the information you want. I'll come talk to your groups anytime you'd like, but we've got to start pushing back.
David Cresson from the Louisiana Chemistry Association. Appreciate a couple minutes, man.
Great being with you, man.
Always. We got one more break. We're going to close it out next on Talk 107.3.
Perfect.
also sponsors of the coverage while we're here. David, how are you? Doing great, Brian. It's been a great allowing decision. Appreciate a couple minutes, man. Great being with you, always. $8.55. Talk 107.3 FM WBRP. Mornings with Brian Haldane. Rolling. Wow, I got all music DJ for just a second there. That was weird. Mornings with Brian Haldane rolling right along. This is a Friday, and normally we would be doing Foodie Friday right about now. Obviously, this with us being out of the studio, that's not happening. Foodie Friday will reconvene not next Friday, but the Friday after that, and we're going to carry you all the way through October because grilling season and tailgate season are one in the same. The Foodie Friday is brought to you by the Louisiana Beef Industry Council every single week. Well, every single week that we do it until I'm, misbehaving and taking the show on the road. But beefitswhatsfordinner.com. Beefitswhatsfordinner.com is the website if you want to learn more about protein, iron, 10 vitamins and nutrients, fuel for your body at all stages of life. Beef, it's whatsfordinner.com. We will be right back at it with Foodie Friday. As, like I said, next week, the Foodie Friday segment is actually the governor. We're going to be having the governor on next Friday. So then when we pick up the Friday leading into Labor Day weekend, that's going to be Rocco. Buckle up, baby. 2 weeks from today. Oh, no, I know. Get ready for it, Breland. 2 weeks from today, we'll have Rocco on board for Foodie Friday. I cannot wait to see what he's got cooking up. But it's the fact that we extended the schedule into football season a good bit, to talk a little tailgating, talk a little bit about firing up the grill. We're going to have some fun with that over the next couple of months. Man, been a rip-roaring show. Been a rip-roaring 2 shows. If you missed out, we were here from 4 till 6 yesterday afternoon talking about Legisgator and a lot of what's going on. We had State Representative Ken Brass. He's from the River Parishes. The area that David Cresson was talking about in our last segment, that's Ken Brass's area. I mean, in between St. Charles and Ascension. That's Ken Brass's area. He was phenomenal. Could not believe that was the first time he's been on the show. He was phenomenal. Lana Venable from Continuum Strategies, one of the sponsors of our coverage here. She was on yesterday, and she was so good. We blew right past an entire break, not late for a break, blew past the break. So that's all available, I believe, individually on demand at talk1073.com. But more to the point, the Facebook Live is still up there. Same thing with today's show. It has been nonstop this morning since we got rolling in the 6 o'clock hour. We talked with Dixon McMakin. We talked with Adam Knapp. We talked with Desiree Lemoyne from Industry Makes. We talked with Nick Johnson and Blanche Gallagher from the TJC Group. We had Scott Walker from Southwest Louisiana Economic Development Alliance, who dropped an absolute bombshell on us, talking about the goals for Southwest Louisiana. Y'all, when you start to taste what victory tastes like, you want more of it. And Scott, with having so much LNG, including Cataris and Commonwealth LNG, Scott, with having so much LNG success in the backyard of Southwest Louisiana, he has set a goal that by 2036, he wants to increase the population by 100,000 people. Just letting that sit. What if each region of the state did the same thing? What if each region of the state were to do that? Could you imagine how many times in the last 3 years have you been hearing Louisiana's been punching out of its weight class? Well, if each region of the state were to take on that kind of goal, and even if you come up short, take on that kind of goal and move towards it, our representation in Washington, D.C. would increase overnight. Well, over a decade, but overnight within there, because increased population means more Congress members. More Congress members means maybe we're not punching out of our weight class, but we've moved into a new weight class that we're going to keep scrapping in. So, unbelievable stuff, y'all. I greatly appreciate all of the sponsors for hopping on board. For everybody who's watching on Facebook Live, you've seen a good bit of me having to turn the volume down during the breaks. I'm sorry, not sorry. That's we're here to cover the event, but not here to catch anybody with a hot mic in the background. So that's going to do it for us up here. Moon Griffon's coming your way next. One more shout out, if I could, to Caterus and Commonwealth LNG. One more shout out to Continuum Strategies, the TJC group, and to the Louisiana Chemistry Association. They've been bringing you our coverage of Legisgator. We'll see you back at studio on Monday.
All right, Brian, be careful, please.
No, I got it. All good.
Okay.
Thank
text
you.
me,
Appreciate it.
text me. Okay.
Will do. Thank you. Bye. Okay, I need to log off of Facebook as well. End stream and end stream.